This threat is present in every corner of the province.
Fire rages near the remote village of Clinton as crews keep a wary eye on weather conditions that could fuel the blazes. A plan to densify parts of Vancouver is rejected by City Council. Why some say the decision was purely political. And a popular BC water park plans its reopening more than a month after several children were injured in an electrical incident. It's Wednesday, July 29th. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Craig Krause. Carrie is off this week. We begin with the latest on BC's fierce wildfire fight. With more than a dozen new wildfires sparked in the last 24 hours, firefighters continue battling major blazes across BC. The Big Bar Fire Complex near Clinton continues to burn, forcing hundreds from their homes. We're now joined by CTV's Dimitra Maragos, who's live this morning with us. Well, good morning, Dimitra. These blazes are keeping fire crews very busy.
Yeah, Craig, that's an understatement. Crews are incredibly busy battling the blaze near Clinton. As you just mentioned, those in Clinton and near 70 Mile House have been forced out of their homes to evacuate in order to stay safe as crews continue to battle this blaze. Now, the Pear Lake fire has now merged with the 59 Creek fire, creating a massive wildfire spanning more than 65,000 hectares. The complex also includes the French Bar fire and Rim Lake fires, also out of control. The BC Wildfire Service warns the next 48 hours could be critical, with hot, dry conditions, gusty winds, and the threat of thunderstorms all expected to drive extreme fire behavior and rapid growth. The province says crews remain focused on protecting homes and critical infrastructure, while downed power lines and heavy smoke continue to create dangerous conditions. Now, the Thompson-Nicola Regional District has a Zoom meeting planned today for 1:30 p.m. for those under evacuation order and alert to answer any questions that they might have. Craig?
Dimitra Maragos reporting live in Port Coquitlam this morning. Thanks, Dimitra. And Vancouver City Council is backing away from a controversial development plan known as 17 Villages. The plan to densify parts of the city by creating more low-rise housing has officially been defeated. Mayor Ken Sim introduced the Villages plan 3 years ago, but council said it received a tsunami of opposition. The Villages plan aimed to allow more low-rise housing and mixed developments in 17 neighborhoods, spurring a public hearing that lasted days. Some councillors say the plan required more engagement and did not strike the right balance, but the opposition is calling the whole process a waste of time and resources and insists it was all political.
I think it was influenced by the outcome of the election, or the potential for negative outcome of the election, because again, this was very clear direction from the mayor and his political party, and they've done an about-face on it.
I do think that no homeowner should feel that City Hall is deciding the future of their property without their voice being heard.
The council meeting did approve some changes to increase density, but nothing nearly as grand, instead allowing for small apartments on single-family lots. Meantime, it's full steam ahead for a new floating spa project on Kitsilano's waterfront. Council approved the proposal unanimously, which will see a Second World War-era barge repurposed into a wellness spa located near the Maritime Museum. The museum teamed up with Haven Saunas to make the pitch to the city for rezoning in hopes it would drive up visitors in that area. And a lot of residents dove in with their say at last night's public hearing. Take a listen.
I'm extremely upset about it. As you may tell, I don't want that swimming beach destroyed. There's a lot of us go there all the time. There's families with kids there.
This is an absolute world-class facility. It's one of those facilities you'll see in a airplane travel magazine. More importantly, I'm excited about this project because it actually gives additional support to one of the best and underrated museums of Vancouver, the Maritime Museum.
The opening date isn't expected until mid-2027. And tenants and advocates in Vancouver's downtown east side are sounding the alarm, warning hundreds of low-income residents could be displaced as several SRO buildings faced foreclosure.
It is a crisis because when new landlords like this one at the West Hotel takes over, we do see changes that don't necessarily benefit the tenants and could lead to homelessness and more street disorder.
Multiple SROs have recently foreclosed or are about to. Advocates are urging all levels of government to act quickly and create a permanent fund that would allow nonprofit organizations to buy buildings in financial distress. Hikers on the iconic West Coast Trail on Vancouver Island are being asked to put their plans on hold until at least tomorrow. This as Parks Canada responds to a growing number of evacuation requests following days of heavy rain. Water levels on rivers and creeks are high due to the ongoing rainfall, and officials say crossing them is not recommended. Parks Canada is asking hikers to delay their trips or continue only if they're fully prepared for the conditions, and some are heeding that warning.
I feel sad for people who've come from New Zealand and Korea and Saskatoon, you know, that spent all this time and money and airfare to cut their trip short. But, you know, you got to protect what you have, right, to be able to have more adventures in the future.
But several other hikers CTV spoke to say they will go ahead with their plans and assess if they need to turn back once they're out there. Parks Canada reminds if you do delay your trip, your existing reservation will be honored, or you can cancel and get a full refund. Cultus Lake Water Park is getting set to reopen parts of the park this weekend. This after an electrical issue injured several people last month and forced the attraction to close. The park says in a statement that Technical Safety BC has not yet completed its investigation. It says the park will reopen in phases and hot tubs will remain closed. The park's website says it will be back to regular hours on Saturday with extended hours for the second and third week of August. Nanaimo hammer thrower champion Ethan Katzberg added another major title to his growing list of achievements, taking the gold at the Commonwealth Games in Scotland. Not only did Katzberg strike gold, the 24-year-old set a Commonwealth Games record with his very first throw of 80.97 meters. That record throw comes 4 years after earning silver at the last games. Katzberg is already a two-time world champion and Olympic gold medalist. CTV News spoke with him about the special meaning of that victory.
There's criteria for being a Canadian hammer thrower, and the mustache is a part of the outfit. The Commonwealth Games holds a special place in my heart. It's the first senior team I was on, first senior medal. I took silver at the last one. So to come back here and win the gold is incredibly special to me.
Fellow hammer throw athlete Rowan Hamilton of Chilliwack took home the bronze. And get your sauces ready and maybe a stack of napkins as well. Today is National Chicken Wing Day, sauced, dry, or breaded. There are a lot of ways to enjoy the classic wing. The most popular sauces to dip a wing in are ranch and blue cheese. And in case you were wondering why wings usually always come with carrots and celery, it's to counterbalance the spice and fat. And yes, this is different than National Chicken Finger Day, which we celebrated on Monday. All right, we're going to bring in Mark now with a look at weather. But Mark, the big question is, are you a drumstick or are you a flat guy?
Well, I don't eat chicken anymore, but I used to like both. I like drumsticks.
Yeah, and I'm a flat guy. So there we go.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. But I never liked them too spicy. You know, I was more the ranch or just, like the sweet sort of barbecue dressing. Yeah, because, I watch those shows and people, sort of set their face on fire just for the sake of entertainment. But
you're making me hungry.
Okay, grab a celery stick, okay, some carrots. All right, good morning. Let's get to your weather. CTV weather brought to you by the Vancouver Canadians. Catch the Seas at the Nat all summer long. Visit CanadiansBaseball.com. We're starting off okay this morning on this Wednesday morning. It is mostly cloudy, though, and 15 degrees. Wind is very light. It's out of the north. It may pick up a little bit later on this afternoon. And we do have some fog patches kind of hanging around. They will go later this morning, and we'll get into kind of a mix of sun and cloud for most of the day, and it clears up a little bit overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, again, a little bit of cloud and some patchy fog, and then turning mainly sunny after that, or a mix of sun and cloud for most of the afternoon. And temperatures won't be too bad either. So today, it will be partly cloudy through the morning and sun and cloud into the afternoon. We'll get back up to about 21 degrees, and then there is still some sunny days to come, but there's also a chance of showers to come by the weekend, too. I'll have details on that with the 5-day forecast. Got that coming up in a few minutes. Craig?
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mark. While the American booze controversy in BC continues, BC Premier is now taking shots at the BC Conservatives, claiming they're siding with the United States amid a trade war. The back and forth as Canada looks to secure a new trade deal. Plus,
they're despicable. They're purposely preying on elderly individuals.
cracking down on scams targeting Vancouver's most vulnerable residents. Coming up, we have a story of how one senior was the victim of a targeted attack to snag her necklace. Stay with us. Good morning and welcome back. Well, the Premier is accusing the BC Conservatives of siding with the United States in the ongoing tariff dispute. David Eby says key members of the opposition quietly met with the U.S. ambassador and are undermining a key tactic in the trade war, BC's ban on American booze. Here's Legislative Bureau Chief Rob Buffum.
BC's booze ban has not only drawn the ire of Donald Trump, it's becoming a lightning rod for controversy at home. The Premier accusing his opponents, the BC Conservatives, of siding with the Americans.
I understand the Conservatives had their quiet meeting with the ambassador of the United States and have come out and said that we should get rid of the only leverage that appears to be catching the attention of the president by putting U.S. alcohol back on the shelves. I couldn't disagree more. I think that would sell out forest families for nothing. It is a disgraceful approach for British Columbia. And I don't understand the logic of it.
U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra did meet earlier this month with several BC Conservative MLAs, including Brian Tepper.
I think that's been our stance from the beginning, is why did we bring it in? The people of British Columbia can choose if they want to boycott something or not.
Now that the ban's in place, Tepper says there are a few options his party would consider, including removing the ban as a show of good faith, or using it as leverage to reduce or eliminate tariffs on softwood lumber.
We still want to use it now as a bargaining position as moving forward, right? We still are in negotiations and it's in play.
Not the fiery position Eby took last week.
There is not a chance in hell that U.S. alcohol is going back on the shelf in British Columbia.
Or even today.
We will never put U.S. alcohol back on the shelves. And I think that approach for British Columbia is the right approach.
But it's not the right approach for Alberta. Premier Danielle Smith saying she'll keep American liquor on the shelves. The American president now claiming he doesn't care what we do.
Here's the thing. Mexico and Canada need us. We don't need them. The deal is important for them. It's not important for us.
And so far, a trade deal with the U.S. is as hard to find as Kentucky bourbon on BC shelves.
Robert Buffum, CTV News.
They're quick and organized, and they're targeting some of Vancouver's most vulnerable residents. Scammers are stealing precious valuables from seniors, and police are warning would-be victims to stay alert after dozens of distraction thefts were reported across the city this year. CTV's Dimitri Maragos has that story.
Janice Yang, a 72-year-old East Vancouver resident, says she was targeted outside of her home. 3 people approached her, offering a gift in exchange for her necklace. The suspects allegedly yanked the necklace from her neck before the group fled in a rental car.
My mom said she felt really nervous when it happened, but she just wanted her necklace back.
Police say the crimes happen in seconds, but the impact can last much longer, leaving victims without treasured family heirlooms and feeling unsafe. VPD explains thieves approach seniors on foot or in vehicles, distract them, then use sleight of hand to replace valuable jewelry with fake pieces. If victims resist, police say it's not uncommon for suspects to simply rip the jewelry away.
They're despicable. They're purposely preying on elderly individuals.
VPD says as of July 16th, there have been 35 distraction thefts with the total value of items stolen being over $240,000. Police believe organized crime rings are behind many of the thefts, with suspects traveling across Canada in rental vehicles looking for victims.
I want them to know that we're aware. We're aware of what they're doing. We are looking for them.
In Yang's case, officers arrested 35-year-old Ontario resident Amelia Stoyan, who has since been charged with robbery and is scheduled to appear in BC Supreme Court on August 10th. Her son says while his mother lost a treasured piece of jewelry, she hopes sharing her story will prevent someone else from becoming a victim.
For seniors, she just wants to warn them, to be mindful, to be safe.
Dimitri Maragos, CTV News, Vancouver.
All right. This year marks 60 years for a cable car company taking visitors to the top of Mount Etna. Check this out. The family that owns this business has learned the hard way that it's a little risky to operate the continent's most active volcano. In those 60 years, it's been destroyed 5 times by eruptions, but they say they always rebuild, as 1.5 million people visit the volcano every single year. And many of us can remember our first car, but did you take into account the safety or just the price? Coming up, experts are warning parents looking to buy their teen's first car that they should make safety a priority, as the crash rate for teens is nearly 4 times higher. Also,
the chase for the squirrel is on.
Chaos breaks loose at the ballpark. How a squirrel evaded security during a recent Major League Baseball game. You don't want to miss it. See you after the break.
Experience the Wizard of Oz on ice daily at the P&E Fair from August 22nd to September 7th. Join Dorothy and her friends as they embark on a magical journey through Oz, brought to life with stunning visuals. Entered for your chance to win a 4-pack of P&E Fair and ride passes by visiting ctvvancouver.ca or scanning the QR code on your screen. Good luck.
Well, it was a squirrely situation at the ballpark as a pesky trespasser invaded the Detroit Tigers field, and the play-by-play announcer called all the action.
The chase for the squirrel is on, and the squirrel is in the corner, and the squirrel is still eluding an entire horde of grounds crew members. And the squirrel's free once again. Hemmed in? No, I won't be hemmed in. And hops through the towel. And hops through another towel. The force field is activated. Towels can't stop him, or maybe they can.
Oh, that's so awesome. Once the squirrel was wrangled, the Tigers say it was released and unharmed outside of the stadium. All right, we're going to bring in Mark now. Mark, that brings back some memories for me. I was a groundskeeper for a summer for the Vancouver Canadians. We didn't have any intruders like that, but wow, that video is incredible.
Okay, so did you do the dance during?
We did.
We did that
every day.
Wow.
We have the dance ready to go for the fans. It was a great experience for that summer.
Nice. Did you have to dress up in a sushi costume to do the sushi race?
Yes. I'm not going to say which one I was, but I was Chef Wasabi.
Okay. Well, we'll get you a costume and you can do a dance routine.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow.
Or maybe our crack research team can find some video of that.
Please don't.
Good. Okay. I know there's lots of video of me out there that I don't want seen. All right, let's get a look at your weather for this morning and Wednesday morning, and it's working out pretty good. It's cloudy right now. We do have some patchy fog around as well, and it's 15 degrees. Very, very light wind, but it may pick up later on this afternoon. Let's check our almanac. We'll get up to about 21 degrees today. Our average around this time of year is 23. Last year we hit 25, and our record on this day was in 2009, 34 degrees, and sunset tonight just before 9 o'clock. Air quality warning, well, the orange warning is gone, but the yellow warning still is in place due to the poor air quality through the Okanagan, Columbia, Kootenay, 100-mile region, Caribou, Prince George, still a big chunk of the province undergoing that poor air quality. Let's check the province quickly for today. 28 in Kelowna, 29 in Kamloops with that smoke and haze. Also some sun and cloud in Prince George. Same thing for Fort St. John with highs of 20. A few showers in Prince Rupert. We've got showers and then clearing in Masset and showers and clearing in Bella Coola. For us, we'll see it clear away for a mix of sun and cloud this afternoon. And then tomorrow, some of that cloud comes back in overnight. And then tomorrow morning, we'll see a little bit more of that cloud and fog. And then clearing up pretty nicely, too. 17 in Port Hardy today and cloudy, mostly cloudy. It'll be mostly sunny through Campbell River, Comox, and 21. 23 in the Nanaimo. Port Alberni will be 24. Tofino seeing some drizzle this morning and 18 degrees, and then clearing in Victoria today with highs of 21. A little bit of showers in this morning, then clearing around Powell River and Sechelt, up through Squamish and Whistler, mainly sunny, and mainly sunny here for much of Metro Vancouver and the Valley. Temperatures anywhere from 21 near the water, warms up a bit, up to about 24, 23 by the time you get out to the Valley. So our 5-day, much the same type of weather for tomorrow, and also through Friday, Saturday. We do have a 70% chance of seeing a few showers. Won't last for the whole day, and then we'll get the sun back on Sunday, and temperatures will stay seasonal around 21, 23 degrees. Great.
Things are warming up. Thanks, Mark. Yep. Well, parents looking to buy their teen's first car may be tempted to go for the cheapest option, but experts warn safety should be the priority, as the crash rate for teens is nearly 4 times higher than it is for older drivers. CTV's Pat Forum breaks down the safest, budget-friendly models.
When it comes to buying your teen a car, you might be tempted to buy a less expensive bare bones model, but car crashes are one of the leading causes of death for young drivers aged 15 to 24. You can't blame parents like Mio Hinkson for worrying. Her son Jordan recently got his driver's license, and she knows choosing the right vehicle for him is critical.
For now, he drives our car with us. But when he's ready, we're planning on getting something newer and safer.
And Consumer Reports agrees.
A parent should buy a car with as much safety as their budget allows.
CR and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety analyzed makes and models to find safe, budget-friendly car options. They identified 74 used cars that have performance and features designed to keep young drivers safe, but that also have high levels of crash protection if the worst does occur. On the list, popular picks like the Honda Civic, Toyota Camry, and Hyundai Tucson.
For teen drivers, features like automatic emergency braking, forward collision warning, and blind spot warning can provide them with an extra layer of protection while their experience is still developing.
New drivers will have to be added to your vehicle's insurance policy, and parents should expect a major increase in premiums. Along with safety features, Mio reminds her son nothing replaces good driving habits.
The main thing that I share with him is always safety, to just make sure that he is paying attention.
Keeping a clean driving record, avoiding tickets, and driving safely can also help keep your premiums from going up. Pat Foran, CTV News.
That's so interesting to take into account when you are looking for that first vehicle.
Yeah,
But we were just talking during that story. What was your first car?
Okay, well, I just turned 70, so it's not a horse and buggy.
Okay.
I know that. But it was, I actually inherited my dad's car, which was a Toyota, which gave him countless problems, and I used to tease him mercilessly about it. And of course, as soon as I got it, a few months later, it blew up on the highway.
Oh, no.
I blew a piston right out of it. So,
what was your second car then?
Second car after that was, God, I can't remember. I didn't have a car for a while, and then I bought an old VW Rabbit. So
and my first car was a VW Beetle. So
there you go. There you go.
VW
Awesome.
family. Well, the summer's in full swing, but for some, their travel plans could be in jeopardy. Flight attendants at WestJet could walk off the job this week as customers now are given the shot to make a one-time change to their upcoming flights. Plus,
we need events like this just to get together on a human, personal level.
Canadian officials are in Washington amid ongoing trade talks. How a baseball game is attempting to mend that relationship. This and more coming up.
The Big Bar Fire Complex continues to burn out of control near Clinton, prompting more evacuation orders and alerts. We'll have all the details right here on Your Morning Vancouver.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. We begin with the latest on BC's wildfire fight. An explosive wildfire burning near the remote village of Clinton remains out of control this morning, forcing hundreds of people from their homes. It comes as officials are set to hold an information session later today for residents who have already been evacuated or are at risk of doing so. We're now joined by CTV's Dimitra Maragos, who's live this morning with us. Dimitra, what's the latest on this?
Craig, well, the latest is that the Pear Lake and as well as the 59 Creek wildfire continue to burn out of control. They're now merged into one larger wildfire spanning more than 6,500 hectares. Now, the BC Wildfire Service will certainly have their hands full as they battle this blaze. They tell me that the next 48 hours could be critical.
With this weather outlook for these next couple of days, we're really expecting extreme fire behavior expected today, and significant growth on these incidents is definitely possible.
Crews remain focused on protecting homes and critical infrastructure as dangerous fire conditions continue. Across the province, more than 135 wildfires are burning. Near Boston Bar, the Brunswick Fire Complex also remains out of control. The BC Wildfire Service says the complex includes the Brunswick Creek, Ainsley Creek, and Anderson Creek fires, with firefighters continuing to protect communities. Highway 1 and other critical infrastructure as evacuation orders and alerts remain in place. Now, more than a dozen new wildfires have sparked just in the last 24 hours as fire crews continue to keep an eye on the weather. Craig?
All right. Thank you, Dimitra. And Canada's top trade minister is in Washington for negotiations with the U.S. this week. And last night, Dominic LeBlanc made an appearance at the Washington Nationals Toronto Blue Jays game in what was billed as a goodwill friendship game.
Relations are a little strained right now between Canada and the U.S., and so we need events like this just to get together on a human, personal level.
LeBlanc could be seen on the field watching closely as both teams pose for a photo near home plate. Canada's new U.S. ambassador, Mark Wiseman, also threw out the game's first pitch. The friendly moment comes amidst tough negotiations between Canada and the United States. U.S. President Donald Trump recently indicated he didn't care about the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement or CUSMA. They are also just 3 more weeks before Trump hits a range of Canadian exports with 50% tariffs. A House of Commons committee is holding a special meeting today on the Gordie Howe International Bridge. This comes as the federal government faces more questions about its ravine sharing deal with the United States. And that's revenue sharing. The proposed agreement is in principle to open the bridge says Canada will share half of the net toll revenues with the U.S. for the first 15 years. Prime Minister Mark Carney had said previously that tolls would not be split until after Canada's debt to build the bridge is paid back. The new link between Windsor, Ontario and Detroit finally opened this past Monday, months later than planned. Today's meeting is expected to be mostly administrative, with MPs set to talk about the scope of the study and a list of witnesses. Yet another blow for Canada's beleaguered forestry sector. BC-based Canfor is shutting down another one of its operations, this time in northern Alberta. Canfor announced yesterday it's permanently closing the Fox Creek sawmill, pointing to weak market conditions, tariffs, and fiber supply. This comes on the heels of the company shutting its doors on a series of operations here in BC, including the Northwood Pulp Mill in Prince George, which was announced earlier this month. Operations at Fox Creek are slated to end in late summer. All right, we're moving overseas now. A massive wildfire southwest France has forced over 220,000 people to flee their homes. West of Bordeaux has scorched an area 4 times the size of Paris. Authorities have evacuated 24 towns and villages, prioritizing safety. Most evacuees are staying in temporary shelters. To Japan now, where the death toll has risen to 18 after a major earthquake collapsed buildings and even triggered an explosion at a shopping mall. Here's ABC's Hannah Bata with more.
This morning, a frantic race against time in southern Japan after Tuesday's powerful 7.1 magnitude earthquake. Some 300,000 people told to evacuate because of aftershocks. Crews digging through the rubble, searching for the missing. This aerial view shows the force of the quake, ripping a massive crack through this rice field. An explosion tearing through the shopping mall in video obtained by broadcaster NHK. The blast possibly triggered by a gas leak after the quake collapsed part of the second floor. Terrified shoppers taking cover as the intense shaking scattered merchandise in this store. Security cameras rolling inside this newsroom. Workers ducking for cover under their desks. At this paper mill, a collapsed chimney burying workers. 9 were still missing overnight. Part of this bridge giving way into the river below. This train knocked onto its side. Tens of thousands are without power. Homes pancaked, rescuers picking through what's left. Other buildings are still burning, smoke billowing into the air. Hannah Bata, ABC News, New York.
And back here in Canada, flight attendants at WestJet could walk off the job as early as Sunday if they are unable to reach a new deal. CUPE, the union representing the airline's flight attendants, says the main sticking points include what it calls unpaid work. WestJet is offering customers planning to fly between July 30th and August 4th a chance to make one-time changes to their bookings without fees. The airline says talks with the union are progressing, and it's optimistic it can reach an agreement. Canadian hockey fans will now have to fork over more money to watch NHL games on Wednesdays if they're not already subscribers to Amazon Prime.
It's hockey, and it's on Prime.
Streaming service will be the exclusive broadcaster of Wednesday night games in Canada for the next 12 years in both English and in French. The deal is a sub-licensing agreement with NHL rights holder Rogers, and it comes weeks after it announced that Hockey Night in Canada would no longer be carried on CBC, bringing a long-standing tradition to an end. Katy Perry is set to release her 3rd concert movie. Lifetime's tour live from Paris will take audience back to November 2025 when Perry played a sold-out show in the city. It will be in cinemas in IMAX for one night only on September 2nd. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. Perry has 2 other concert movies released in 2012 and in 2015. All right, Mark, have you seen either of those movies back in 2012 or 2015?
No.
Neither have I.
No. I like Katy Perry. Sure. I like her music and everything else, but not a big enough fan that I would go to one of her concerts or whatever. But who knows?
No. Maybe this one.
Okay, who knows? Yeah. All right, let's get to your weather. CTV weather brought to you by the Vancouver Canadians. Catch the Seas at the Nat all summer long. Visit CanadiansBaseball.com. Good day for baseball, too, because it will clear up for a nice mix of sun and cloud. It's cloudy right now and 15 degrees. Very, very light wind. And we do have some fog patches still kind of lingering around. They will go later this afternoon. Some of that cloud will, so we'll be into a mix of sun and cloud for much of the afternoon. It does come back a bit tonight, and then tomorrow morning it'll be around 2, and maybe some more of that fog, but then clearing up after that. So a good couple of days coming our way. So partly cloudy this morning into the afternoon. It'll be sun and cloud, highs of 21. And then inland, it's going to climb up to about 24 degrees. And with the humidex, it may feel even warmer, up to about 26. So, and then clearing up a little bit for this evening. We'll have more with the 5-day forecast. Also go over the air quality warning still in effect for some parts of the province. I've got that coming up in a few minutes. Great.
Thank you, Mark. Well, new research is shedding light on the plight of medical professionals in this country. Still ahead, how burnout is taking its toll on emergency room physicians and what some of the doctors are planning to do about it.
So much anguish, so much conflict.
Live insects, a funeral wreath, and a bloody pig Halloween mask are all wrapped up in a multi-million-dollar settlement involving eBay. This bizarre story and more coming up.
SK Hynix reporting disappointing, albeit record, second quarter earnings results on Wednesday, extending a wild ride for memory chip makers as investors try to figure out when a severe supply shortage will end. SK Hynix's American depository receipts were flat ahead of Wednesday's opening bell, having dropped 9% the previous session. The company's South Korean shares closed down 9.6%. At one point, they were down by 20%. And rival Samsung dropped 5.2%, and the flagship Kospi Composite fell 6%. Hudbay Minerals reported adjusted earnings per share and adjusted EBITDA for the second quarter that beat the average analyst estimate, but gold, copper, and zinc production missed estimates. Its forecast for gold and copper, though, is unchanged. And Toby Lutke, the CEO of one of Canada's largest tech companies, is facing criticism after he appeared to endorse the idea of giving the wealthy more voting power than others. Eric Thor, a former TD Bank executive, proposed on X a system in which people who pay no income tax would receive no votes, while those paying $500,000 US or more in income tax annually would receive up to 5 votes. Lutke responded, "Good system." Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
The BNN Bloomberg Report is brought to you by IG Private Wealth Management. Does your financial advisor put you at the center?
Well, we are celebrating 100 years of recreation on Grouse Mountain this morning with this arrival of their Centennial Festival happening now through August 3rd. Now, someone who knows a lot about the history of Grouse Mountain is Stuart McLaughlin, whose family actually owned Grouse Mountain for decades, and you were the former president as well. Stuart, congratulations on this incredible achievement, being part of this legacy. Talk to us a little bit about your time here on the mountain and how your family got introduced to it.
Yeah, sure. Grouse Mountain is a special place and always has been, and all for 100 years.
Yeah.
Well, actually beyond that, even back to our Indigenous community, it was a special place. But the opportunity was presented to my father in about 1972 when I made my first trip here with him, and in 1974 when the Red Tram had been let. There wasn't enough funds to finish it, so our family stepped forward and we completed the Red Sky Ride.
Yeah, and you guys haven't stopped really since then. What have been some of your biggest milestones during your family stewardship of Grouse?
Well, there's been good times and hard times, and almost out of the gate, snow was a problem in the early 1970s, but we persisted, and I became involved in 1988, and at that point in time, I realized that the company needed to have a stewardship that was going to invest in it. So I took the company private. The first thing we had to do was look at really how was the mountain going to continue over the next decades, and realize that we had to diversify away from just skiing.
Well, I was going to say, how did you take a ski hill and turn it into a year-round destination?
Yeah. So Expo 86 was critical here in Vancouver because it really opened up the world's eyes to what the potential of Vancouver was for tourism. The first thing I did was trying to find the Spirit Lodge, which was a big hit during Expo, but that technology had gone, so we created the Theater in the Sky to create a weatherproof black box attraction.
I mean, you guys have so much going on here in the summer, and we've actually tried the zip lines and the mountain ropes.
I hope you did the Grouse Grind.
Oh, well, not yet. I plan on it this summer, though. Okay. There's so much to do and take in here on Grouse Mountain, and Centennial Festival is a great time for you to come try it. It runs through August 3rd. There's lots of great discounts for family passes, so you can head online to the website you see on your screen to book your next adventure here on Grouse.
Great. Thanks, Mona. Well, now to a bizarre story about the popular website eBay and how some of its former executives reacted to criticism. Their actions now leading to a massive financial settlement. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
This morning, eBay has agreed to pay nearly $56 million to a Massachusetts couple after several former eBay employees targeted and harassed them with bizarre and gruesome deliveries.
So much anguish, so much conflict.
This bloody pig Halloween mask was just one of the items that Ina and David Steiner received at their home, along with the funeral wreath and live cockroaches and spiders.
We don't think that anybody should be stalked and harassed because they are speaking out online.
The Steiners run an online newsletter that was often critical of eBay. Back in 2020, 7 eBay employees were charged with harassment, including an alleged plan to hide a GPS tracker on the Steiners' car. Most of the defendants pleaded guilty. Some were sentenced to prison.
It was difficult and it was painful. It has definitely left scars, but we couldn't live with ourselves if we didn't take this as far as we physically and humanly could.
eBay condemned the harassment and apologized, saying it was wrong, reprehensible, and should never have happened. The company adding it's now strengthened its policies, procedures, controls, and training consistent with the company's ongoing commitment to uphold high standards of conduct and ethics.
It has changed who we are, but I think that we'll see more normal days ahead.
Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Artists in Japan are getting ready for the National Chalk Art Championship. It's a bit of a departure from painting on canvas or drawing on a tablet, and unlike other forms of art, chalkboard creations are meant to be erased. Artists call it a reminder that nothing lasts forever. That's so cool. Well, 2 of the biggest movies out this summer also feature the same performers in the cast. If you're a little confused, Jimmy Fallon may help you sort it all out, and Mark will have that coming up in your Late Laugh. But first,
I met a girl crazy for me. Met a boy cute as can be. Summer days drifting.
On this day back in 1978, the Grease soundtrack hit #1 in the U.S. thanks to the hit Summer Nights and You're the One That I Want. The movie would go on to become a classic watched by millions around the world.
She swam by me, she got a cramp. He ran by me, got me so damn. I saved her life, she nearly.
Good morning and welcome back. It's time now for milestones and a big 60th birthday, and congrats on your retirement. Magic Mailman Gary, enjoy the ride. Cheers from your family, friends, and Corky.
And a happy 8th birthday to Jimmy Kelbo. Have a wonderful day. Love from your mom and dad.
And a big happy 7th birthday, Jimmy. We're so proud of you. Much love from your family.
Happy 90th birthday to my amazing wife, Anita. Love from your husband, Kenny, and all your family and friends. Wow.
And happy 3rd birthday, Hadley. Lots of love from Daddy, Zevran, and Carver.
Happy birthday, Naomi. Hope the new year brings you lots of joy and happiness and greater heights. Have a fabulous celebration.
So send us your milestones to bcmilestones@ctv.ca.
All right, a good list. And as we take a look at Victoria this morning and the Inner Harbor, the sun is out and there's a little bit of cloud around too. It will be clearing out for a mainly sunny day today in Victoria, and it will be clearing out here. We've got some patchy fog at the moment and a little bit of cloud. Let's check our almanac. We'll get up to about 21 later on today, and average around this time of year is pretty close to 23. Last year we were at 25 on this day, and on this day in 2009 it was a lot warmer, and we set a record for the day at 34 degrees. Air quality warnings still in effect for lots of the province. Poor air quality due to that wildfire smoke for the Okanagan, Columbia region, Kootenay region, 100-mile region, Caribou, and Prince George. So that is still going to be a bit of an issue today. Here across the south coast, we'll see a mix of sun and cloud as we get into the afternoon, and then clouding up a bit again tonight with some patchy fog, and then clearing away for another sunny afternoon after that. Temperatures are pretty good. 17 in Port Hardy, although it will be cloudy. Mainly sunny for Campbell River, Comox, also through to Nanaimo at 21, 23, 24 in Port Alberni. Look for a little drizzle this morning out in Tofino. And Victoria, as we mentioned, will be clearing up with highs of 21. You'll get some showers and then clearing later through Powell River and Seychelles today on the Sunshine Coast. Up to Sea to Sky region, it's mostly sunny. 20 in Whistler and 21 to 24 here across the lower mainland. And some of that cloud will clear away for a nice mix of sun and cloud. Same kind of conditions through tomorrow and also through Friday. Good chance of showers popping up on Saturday, and then Sunday we're looking at sun and cloud with highs of about 21. Well, as Jimmy Fallon pointed out on The Tonight Show last night, the two big movies this summer, The Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day, which hits theaters this weekend, both star Tom Holland and Zendaya in lead roles. To avoid confusion, Jimmy breaks it down for you. Here's today's Late Laugh.
Well, guys, as I mentioned, Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out this weekend, and it stars... it stars Tom Holland and Zendaya. Which is interesting because The Odyssey also stars Tom Holland and Zendaya. If you're confused, I'll explain. Spider-Man, Zendaya. The Odyssey, Tom. The Odyssey, Zendaya. Spider-Man, also Tom. Spider-Man and Odyssey, they're in both Tom and Z. Don't forget Robert P., Z and he, Dune Part 3. Rob is not in Brand New Day. John B. is, who's Menelaus. In real life, Tom's with Zendaya, but in Dune, she's Shalameza. Hathaway is Holland's mama and was in Devil Wears Prada. Rob and Z were in the drama. Hard to keep up? Thanks, Obama. Z is MJ, No Way Homa, not like MJ, oh, Shamona. Tom is Peter, flying higher. Rob is Edward, hot vampire. Tim, Tom, and Rob, also John, is Zendaya Marathon. Tom and Rob and Tim, Johnny B. This song has been an odyssey.
And he had to go lie down after that one.
Absolutely. I kind of love that song. I need to download it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. He's good at doing this.
Have you seen The Odyssey?
Haven't seen The Odyssey. My son saw it. He loved it. So we're planning on, maybe sneaking it in this weekend. Not a film you can sneak in. It's like a 3-hour-long movie, right? But it's supposed to be very, very good.
And there's only like a few dozen theaters in Canada that you can actually watch it, right? When it comes to IMAX?
If you want to see it in IMAX, yes, because there's not too many IMAX theaters across the country. I know there's one here downtown. But no, he saw it in a regular theater, and he said it's just the same type of experience. I mean, if you want to go get the full-on, theatrical surround sound, do the IMAX if you can. But even if you see it in a regular theater, whatever that is these days, he said it's just amazing.
And the list of stars in that movie is just incredible.
Oh man, no kidding.
Matt Damon, Zendaya, Tom Holland, unbelievable.
A few other cameos in there too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, back here in Vancouver, City Council is cutting a contentious development proposal. Still to come, we'll dive into Council's decision to scrap the Villages plan amid a tsunami of complaints and how one councillor believes the reversal was solely political. And what happened that left one Californian man adrift at sea for weeks and how he was eventually rescued. That's still to come. The battle to contain the Big Bar fire complex continues, forcing hundreds of people from their homes and communities, including Clinton and 70 Mile House. We'll have the latest on that situation after the break.
This threat is present in every corner of the province.
Fire rages near the remote village of Clinton as those on evacuation alerts or orders are set to learn more from officials today. plan to densify parts of Vancouver is rejected by City Council. Why some say the decision was purely political. And coming up, details on a floating spa that's just been given the green light for Kitsilano's waterfront. It's Wednesday, July 29th. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Craig Krause. Kerry is off this week. We begin with the latest on BC's fierce wildfire fight. With more than a dozen new wildfires sparked in the last 24 hours, firefighters continue battling major blazes across the province. The Big Bar Fire complex near Clinton continues to burn, forcing hundreds from their homes. We're now joined by CTV's Dimitra Maragos, who's been live reporting all morning. Well, good morning, Dimitra. These blazes are keeping fire crews quite busy.
Yeah, Craig, that's exactly right. You just said it. The Big Bar Fire complex continues to burn out of control, forcing, as you mentioned, hundreds out of their homes in the Clinton and near 70 Mile House as well. They have they're all under evacuation orders or alerts. But we should get to the Pear Lake fire that's now merged with the 59 Creek fire, creating a massive wildfire spanning more than 66,000 hectares. The complex also includes the French Bar Fire, also out of control. The BC Wildfire Service warns that the next 48 hours could be critical, and hot and dry conditions, gusty winds, and the threat of thunderstorms all expected to drive extreme fire behavior and rapid growth. The province says crews remain focused on protecting homes and critical infrastructure, while downed power lines and heavy smoke continue to create dangerous conditions, while Premier Eby is offering these words to people in the area.
I understand a number of people in Clinton may be hearing that they've lost homes or other structures, businesses in the region today. First of all, I just want to say I know all British Columbians are thinking of those folks right now, and knowing with the wildfire seasons we've had that this threat is present in every corner of the province.
The Thompson-Nicola Regional District and the Village of Clinton will be hosting an online meeting today for those under evacuations and alerts to answer any questions. That all happens at 1:30 today. Craig.
Dimitra Maragos reporting live from Port Coquitlam this morning. Well, thanks, Dimitra. Vancouver City Council is backing away from a controversial development plan known as 17 Villages. The plan to densify parts of the city by creating more low-rise housing has officially been defeated. Mayor Ken Sim introduced the Villages plan 3 years ago, but council said it received a tsunami of opposition. The Villages plan aimed to allow more low-rise housing and mixed developments in 17 neighborhoods, spurring a public hearing that lasted days. Some councillors say the plan required more engagement and did not strike the right balance. But the opposition is calling the whole process a waste of time and resources and insists it was all political.
I think it was influenced by the outcome of the election, or the potential for negative outcome of the election. Because again, this was very clear direction from the mayor and his political party, and they've done an about-face on it.
I do think that no homeowner should feel that City Hall is deciding the future of their property without their voice being heard.
The council meeting did approve some changes to increase density, though, but nothing nearly as grand, instead allowing for small apartments on single-family lots. Meantime, it's full steam ahead for a new floating spa project on Kitsilano's waterfront. Council approved the proposal unanimously, which will see a Second World War-era barge repurposed into a wellness spa located near the Maritime Museum. The museum teamed up with Haven Saunas to make the pitch to the city for rezoning in hopes it would drive up visitors in that area. And a lot of residents dove in with their say at last night's public hearing.
I'm extremely upset about it, as you may tell. I don't want that swimming beach destroyed. There's a lot of us go there all the time. There's families with kids there.
This is an absolute world-class facility. It's one of those facilities you'll see in an airplane travel magazine. More importantly, I'm excited about this project because it actually gives additional support to one of the best and underrated museums of Vancouver, the Maritime Museum.
The opening date isn't expected until mid-2027. And tenants and advocates in Vancouver's downtown east side are sounding the alarm, warning hundreds of low-income residents could be displaced as several SRO buildings face foreclosure.
It is a crisis because when new landlords like this one at the West Hotel takes over, we do see changes that don't necessarily benefit the tenants and could lead to homelessness and more street disorder.
Multiple SROs have recently foreclosed or about to. Advocates are urging all levels of government to act quickly and create a permanent fund that would allow nonprofit organizations to buy buildings in financial distress. Federal politicians are in Vancouver this morning to make an announcement about international energy exports. A statement from Natural Resources Canada says the announcement will be centered around liquefied natural gas. Delta MP Jill McKnight, who is also the Minister of Veterans Affairs, will be on hand. Details are slim on the announcement, but it's coming soon after BC exempted the expansion of the Tilbury LNG site in Delta from a certificate required by the BC Utilities Commission, clearing the way for 1,100 construction jobs and $260 million in tax revenue. BC's municipal elections are still months away, but the campaigns are already heating up. A party in Surrey alleges foreign interference is happening through Facebook groups and is demanding an investigation. Our Penny Daflos has more.
At a time most of us are enjoying lazy summer days and not thinking about October elections, some municipal politicians are already in campaign mode.
We've called for investigations at all levels.
The Safe Surrey Coalition alleges several Facebook groups posting about issues south of the Fraser are actually being run out of India.
Taking into account what's happened in Surrey in regards to the extortions and everything and the influence that's happening across North America, it is concerning for all of us.
It's very true that foreign influence is a concern in Canada, especially during a trade war with the U.S.
I think we need to be thinking about the potential exposure that Canadians have to American malign forces.
Research shows only about half of Canadians know they haven't been seeing legitimate news sources on Meta platforms since 2023. That's when the company blocked journalism on Instagram and Facebook when the Online News Act called for tech companies to pay up for that content.
Sharing of news without proper compensation is not fair.
Into that information vacuum, Facebook pages that appear to be news but are actually AI-generated slop, often misleading and divisive.
It's an extra burden for them to have to try and wade through and figure out what is legitimate journalism and what is not.
With a motive that can be tough to determine.
Foreign interference can happen for political reasons, but it can also happen for economic ones as well.
The Facebook accounts in question don't appear to favor any mayoral candidates and pass scrutiny by Elections BC.
What our initial review of the pages showed was that it's not a violation of election advertising rules.
This isn't even really news. It's kind of AI-generated nonsense. Like, how reputable are these pages anyhow?
Well, that's a good question. It influences people no matter what. People aren't as smart as you and can identify the slop, and they just are influenced by what they see.
Making accounts like these a good example of the importance of questioning the source and motivation of online posts, especially leading up to municipal elections. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Surrey.
Cultus Lake Water Park is getting set to reopen parts of the park this weekend. This after an electrical issue injured several people last month and forced the attraction to close. The park says in a statement that Technical Safety BC has not yet completed its investigation. It says the park will reopen in phases and hot tubs will remain closed. The park's website says it will be back to regular hours on Saturday with extended hours for the second and third week of August. And a happy ending to a dire situation near Hawaii after a California man was rescued after being struck and stuck adrift at sea for a month. The man was attempting a solo trip across the Pacific when his boat's mast snapped and he ran out of gas. He said he drifted for weeks, surviving on oatmeal and fish until he was spotted by a passing ship's crew. He was then brought aboard and given clothes, food, and a ride back to land. Wow.
Sure.
That has to be a sailor's worst nightmare.
No kidding. What, the oatmeal and the fish are just being stuck, right? Or that, or it would drive me crazy if there's no music on there.
No kidding. Yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
Stir crazy.
Yeah, well, good that they found him and good he's okay.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to your weather for this Wednesday morning. CTV weather brought to you by There you go. Destination Cultus. Unleash the fun at Destination Cultus, BC's best water and theme parks. Yeah, it's going to be a nice day today. We've got some cloud at the moment, and the wind has been very, very light out of the north at 15 degrees. It will warm up to about 21, and that's seasonal. And we'll see this cloud and then this patchy fog kind of clear away for a mix of sun and cloud this afternoon, then turning mainly sunny later, and then go clouding up again through tonight. And then tomorrow we'll get some of that cloud and fog back, but then clearing for another sunny afternoon. So today we'll get up to about 21. With the humidex, it's going to feel even warmer at about 26, and those inland temperatures will climb up to about 24. But 21 is right on average for this time of year, and we'll get a few clouds tonight. Like I said, another nice day for tomorrow. We'll have check more with the 5-day forecast. Yes, there's a possibility of showers in that forecast too, and we'll have our scenic snapshot. That's coming up in a few minutes. Craig.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Well, some middle school students are getting a chance to take a deep dive and learn about marine life.
They have all kinds of functions that they provide, as well as being used by us, by humans, as food.
What the grassroots outdoor class is teaching these students about one of the most important coastal ecosystems, seaweed. And new research is revealing burnout is taking its toll on emergency room doctors and medical professionals across the country. Coming up, what some of the physicians are planning to do about it. New research is showing that Canada's already beleaguered healthcare system is continuing to be stretched to its limit. Burnout is taking its toll on emergency room doctors, with 1 in 10 saying they're leaving their position because of it. Here to talk about it today is emergency physician Dr. Caitlin Stockton. Well, good morning, Caitlin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Can you explain for anyone who may not know exactly what burnout is?
Yeah, basically this is exhaustion. It's more than that, though, particularly in emergency medicine. It's something called moral distress. When we can't do our jobs properly, patients suffer and patients actually die, preventable deaths. And this takes an incredible toll on your mental well-being, as you can imagine. And over time, this leads to, moral injury and really just the loss of desire to carry on in a system in which you feel powerless to control the outcome.
As we mentioned in the intro, 1 in 10 is already such a shocking number to see, but even more are cutting back. How many doctors are reducing their hours or taking time away?
Yeah, so this study showed that 50% of physicians are cutting back their clinical hours. And, this is not a surprise to us on the ground. We certainly see this. And this is intensely concerning because we already have such a shortage of healthcare providers. And if 10% are leaving and 50% are reducing their hours, we don't really have a robust plan to retain these providers, then we're in real trouble.
This is already such a high-stress position to be in to begin with. But with a shortage of staff, how many hours are some of these ER doctors working?
A lot of people are working more than they're supposed to and more than they can really sustain, which is, of course, only worsening the burnout crisis. But really, we do love our jobs. We all went into this knowing that it was a very challenging but rewarding profession. The problem is that we can't really do our jobs without resources. We can't possibly see and treat patients who are having emergencies without beds, without monitors, without nursing staff, without support staff, without access to specialty care, without access to diagnostic imaging. And instead, we're finding ourselves just witnessing preventable patient harm and preventable patient deaths. And like I said, it's just incredibly demoralizing when you feel like you're powerless to change that.
We're talking about patients here as well, along with physicians, but what are some of the negative effects that dealing with burnout can have on not only the doctors, but also patients?
Yeah, really, we're just stuck in this vicious cycle right now where, overcrowding, chronic overcrowding, overcapacity, and chronic lack of resources is leading to preventable patient harm. This, like we said, leads to burnout, leads to staff leaving, which unfortunately worsens wait times, worsens preventable patient harm, and then, on and on it goes. And the only real way to break this vicious cycle is system reform. We really do need proactive, evidence-based system reform. And unfortunately, what we're getting right now is a lot of Band-Aid solutions and, PR angles to healthcare. And it's really unfortunate because healthcare is a long game. I understand that it's very political, but politics is not a long game. And what we need is to separate politics from healthcare and to have true independent oversight in order to get out of this vicious cycle.
So what would be that long-term fix? How do you solve this problem?
Yeah, so the Canadian Association of Emergency Physicians published a report in 2024 with really comprehensive recommendations on exactly how we can solve the crisis that we're in right now. I myself founded and chaired a working group in BC, and we proposed legislative changes, which we titled No Patient Left Behind, and we presented these proposals to the Minister of Health and the Ministry of Health. And so far we haven't seen any of these recommendations be put into place by government. These are really basic things that are necessary for the success of any organization. We need reliable data. We need to know what our targets are. What is an acceptable wait time? How many patients should have access to a family physician, et cetera. This data needs to be transparently shared with the public and also, of course, with decision makers. And we need accountability. We need defined accountability. Who is responsible for making sure that patients have reliable, timely access to emergency care? And when they don't have access to that care, who is being held responsible? I mean, these are basic questions that unfortunately we just don't have the answers to.
Well, Dr. Stockton, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, summer vacation is in full swing, but for some, travel plans could be in jeopardy. Flight attendants at WestJet could walk off the job this week, and customers now are given the shot to make a one-time change to their upcoming flight. Plus,
they have all kinds of functions that they provide, as well as being used by us, by humans, as food.
The grassroots outdoor class that's teaching students about one of the most important coastal ecosystems, seaweed.
Experience the Wizard of Oz on ice daily at the P&E Fair from August 22nd to September 7th. Join Dorothy and her friends as they embark on a magical journey through Oz, brought to life with stunning visuals. Enter for your chance to win a 4-pack of P&E Fair passes by visiting ctvvancouver.ca or scanning the QR code right there on your screen. Good luck. All right, it's 7:22 on this Wednesday morning. We're starting off with a little bit of cloud, and temperature still kind of hanging around 15 degrees for most of the morning so far. And the wind has been very, very light. It will shift out of the west later on this afternoon and may pick up a little bit, up to about 20 So it could get a little breezy later on. We do have that air quality warning still in effect. The orange category has been dropped, but still in the yellow warnings too for much of the province, the Okanagan, Columbia, Kootenay region, 100-mile region, Caribou, and Prince George, as the wildfire smoke still a bit of an issue. Here across the south coast, we got cloud in Port Hardy today. We've got mostly sunny day down through Campbell River and Comox. Toward Nanaimo, it'll be 23, 24 at Port Alberni, and a little cloudier. And you'll see a little drizzle this morning out at Tofino with highs of 18. Clearing, though, today in Victoria with highs of 21. Sunshine Coast, you'll see some showers and then some sunny breaks later with highs of 21. Up the Sea to Sky region, mostly sunny in both Squamish and Whistler. And here for the lower mainland, we'll see temperatures 21 near the water. There's going to be 24 inland, so a little bit warmer. With the humidex, it'll feel more like 26. And then a similar type of day through tomorrow, a little bit milder too on Friday. Good chance of showers popping up on Saturday, but then we do have a mix of sun and cloud moving back in for Sunday. And temperatures will stay seasonal at around 21 to 23 degrees. Our scenic snapshot today comes to us from Kathleen Murray, who took this as she's on final approach to Vancouver on a float plane. And a beautiful picture. You can see BC Place in the foreground there, and Stanley Park in the background, and yep, North Shore Mountains too. So if you got a scenic snapshot, send it to us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. What do you think, Greg?
It's quite beautiful. I can see my apartment actually from that shot, so it's a great shot.
I can see my place way in the distance too, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, a unique experience is giving middle school students a chance to learn about one of the most important coastal ecosystems, seaweed. CTV's Andy Garland dives into what the ocean plant has to offer.
For the past 2 years, students on Hornby Island have been going to seaweed school.
Focused on the ecological and cultural importance of local seaweeds.
The grassroots outdoor class is a collaboration between the Hornby Island Natural History Center, the community school, and UBC's Department of Botany.
Really guided by this framing question they have of how do we care for our local seaweeds in this time of climate change and ecological instability.
Seaweed provides coastal stability and critical habitat for sea life. UBC says there are 600 different species of seaweed along our coast, and more than 100 of those species have been recorded around Hornby Island.
They have all kinds of functions that they provide, as well as being used by us, by humans, as food. There's a lot of traditional and contemporary use of seaweeds as food and as medicine.
Ava Zielinski is an alumni of Seaweed School and was buddied up with a species of seaweed native to the Hornby area she could locate and research.
I found my seaweed buddy. It is Turkish washcloth, or also known as Turkish towel. It's a red seaweed, and it pretty much looks like a washcloth.
Not only did she learn how to harvest seaweed and use it as a food source, she also created artwork with it, saying she felt she was well versed in the overall importance of seaweed.
Stop and look at one thing like seaweeds. You start to notice everything else around it, like what lives on the seaweeds, what seaweeds live together.
The Seaweed School intends to train the next generation of coastal scientists, but say it doesn't have to be a career path per se.
Knowledgeable and aware of and stewards of their natural world. Doesn't always have to be marine, but I hope they take away an appreciation of the marine environment.
I love learning from people, and they had a really good way of showing it.
UBC hopes this will inspire other coastal communities to get involved and create their own version of Seaweed School. Andy Garland, CTV News.
I had no idea there were different varieties of seaweed.
Neither did I.
You didn't?
No. I thought it was just the green stuff that goes on the outside.
I mean, you see the different types,
everywhere.
but you don't know what the names are, too. So now
No, I wouldn't know what the names are, but I would have guessed that there's more than one.
Yes, there you go.
One of the signs said, "Can I kelp you?" That's funny.
Good one. That's good.
Right?
I like that.
I didn't come up with that.
We've got a wild video coming up, a terrifying case of road rage that was all caught on camera.
Oh my God, this guy's crazy. He's driving in reverse right now, trying to follow me in reverse. This guy's on drugs, for sure.
Where the scary incident happened and how the driver was arrested. That's ahead.
We need events like this just to get together on a human, personal level.
Canadian officials are in Washington amid ongoing trade talks of a baseball game is attempting to mend that relationship.
The Big Bar Fire Complex continues to burn out of control near Clinton, prompting more evacuation orders and alerts. We'll have all the details right here on Your Morning Vancouver.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. We begin with the latest on BC's wildfire fight. An explosive wildfire burning near the remote village of Clinton remains out of control this morning, forcing hundreds of people from their homes. It comes as officials are set to hold an information session today for residents who have already evacuated or are at risk of doing so. We're now joined by CTV's Dimitra Maragos, who's been reporting all live for us this morning. Well, good morning, Dimitra. What's the latest in the situation?
Craig, well, the Pear Lake fire as well as the 59 Creek wildfire have now merged in together. There are more than 65,000 hectares, and the BC Wildfire Service says in terms of weather patterns, the next 48 hours could be critical.
With this weather outlook for these next couple of days, we're really expecting extreme fire behavior expected today, and significant growth on these incidents is definitely possible.
Crews remain focused on protecting homes and critical infrastructure as dangerous fire conditions continue. Across the province, more than 135 wildfires are burning. Near Boston Bar, the Brunswick Creek Fire Complex also remains out of control. The BC Wildfire Service says the complex includes the Brunswick Creek, Ainsley Creek, and Anderson Creek fires, with firefighters continuing to protect communities, Highway 1, and other critical infrastructure as evacuation orders and alerts remain in place. Now, more than a dozen new wildfires have sparked in the last 24 hours, and firefighters certainly have their work cut out for them as they keep a close eye on the weather patterns here. Craig.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you, Dimitra. Well, Canada's top trade minister is in Washington for negotiations with the U.S. this week. And last night, Dominic LeBlanc made an appearance at the Washington Nationals Toronto Blue Jays game in what was billed as a goodwill friendship game.
Relations are a little strained right now between Canada and the U.S. And so we need events like this just to get together on a human, personal level.
LeBlanc could be seen on the field watching closely as both teams pose for a photo near home plate. Canada's new U.S. ambassador, Mark Wiseman, also threw out the game's first pitch. You're seeing it right there. The friendly moment comes amidst the tough trade negotiations between Canada and the U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump recently indicated he didn't care about the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement, or as others call it, CUSMA. There are also just 3 more weeks before Trump hits a range of Canadian exports with a 50% tariff. A House of Commons committee is holding a special meeting today on the Gordie Howe International Bridge. This comes as the federal government faces more questions about its revenue-sharing deal with the United States. The proposed agreement is in principle to open the bridge says Canada will share half of the net toll revenues with the U.S. for the next 15 years. Prime Minister Mark Carney had said previously that tolls would not be split until after Canada's debt to build the bridge is paid back. The new link between Windsor, Ontario and Detroit finally opened this past Monday, months later than planned. Today's meeting is expected to be mostly administrative, with MPs set to talk about the scope of the study and a list of witnesses. And yet another blow for Canada's beleaguered forestry sector. BC-based Canfor is shutting down another one of its operations, this time in northern Alberta. Canfor announced yesterday it's permanently closing the Fox Creek sawmill, pointing to continued weak market conditions, tariffs, and fiber supply. This comes on the heels of the company shutting its doors on a series of operations in BC, including the Northwood Pulp Mill in Prince George, which was announced earlier this month. Operations at Fox Creek are slated to end in late summer. Okay, we're going to head overseas now. A massive wildfire in southwest France has forced over 220,000 people to flee their homes. The fire west of Bordeaux has scorched an area 4 times the size of Paris. Authorities have evacuated 24 towns and villages, prioritizing safety. Most evacuees are staying in temporary shelters. Soldiers and emergency crews in southwestern Japan are searching through the rubble of a mall after yesterday's powerful earthquake that killed at least 18 people. The mall operator says 3 people were killed and 3 others are missing after the collapse. Police body camera footage shows the devastation inside. You're seeing it right there. Wow. Officials are investigating a possible gas explosion triggered by the earthquake as the cause of that collapse. And 5 people were also killed when a chimney fell at a paper mill. Several people are unaccounted for at the factory. The quake was so strong it knocked over train cars. Survivors are being warned about aftershocks that could last about a week. Powerful power outages are affecting homes and hospitals, raising the risk for heat-related illnesses. America's former top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, has invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination during a tense Senate hearing this morning. This as he's accused by a Republican senator of being obsessed over Fauci's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars.
Fauci is appearing before the Senate Homeland Security Committee, which is chaired by Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Paul has repeatedly called for Fauci to be indicted for lying to Congress about the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. At one point, he had one of Fauci's lawyers removed from the hearing for attempting to speak to the committee. Turning to a terrifying case of road rage in the U.S., ABC's Will Reeve has that story.
This morning, a wild road rage incident caught on camera in Oregon.
He's driving in reverse with me.
Police releasing footage from the victim's dash and rear view camera, showing a suspect allegedly following them.
Hi, I have a disturbance that someone's following me.
The suspect seen driving erratically, swerving in front of their car and slamming the brakes.
Yeah, I have to make a U-turn because he's blocking the road.
The victim's wife screaming from the passenger seat.
Don't worry, I got this.
Police say the couple saw the other driver reach into his coat several times like he had a gun.
I don't know. He seems like he has a weapon or something. He was trying to go under his clothes to grab one.
Then watch this, the driver pursuing them in reverse.
Oh my God, this guy's crazy. He's driving in reverse right now, trying to follow me in reverse. This guy's on drugs. For sure.
You can see him flying down the road backwards. Police say for over a mile. At one point, driving on the wrong side of the road.
Oh my God, he's about to hit another car right now.
The victim's driving straight to the police station. Authorities catching up to the suspect, 29-year-old Armin K. Hastings, shortly after and arresting him.
You're under arrest, step out of the car.
Police finding a black airsoft gun in his pocket. Will Reeve, ABC News, New York.
That is scary. Well, flight attendants at WestJet could walk off the job as early as Sunday if they are unable to reach a new deal. CUPE, the union representing the airline's flight attendants, says the main sticking points include what it calls unpaid work. WestJet is offering customers planning to fly between July 30th and August 4th a chance to make one-time changes to their bookings without fees. The airline says talks with the union are progressing, and it's optimistic it can reach an agreement. Well, the CEO of Shopify, one of Canada's largest tech companies, is under fire for his apparent endorsement of the idea of giving the wealthy more voting powers. Over the weekend, Shopify CEO Toby Lutke responded to a post from former TD Bank executive proposing a system in which voting power would be tied to the amount of income tax a person pays. York University political science professor Dennis Pilo says what we're seeing is an attitude that has long been held by the wealthy.
They have acted as lobbyists to, get their taxes lowered, to weaken the kind of protections that exist, say, for workers or, healthcare things. They've always done that behind the scenes. What we're seeing now is that they're coming right out in the open.
Shopify did not respond to a request for a comment by CTV News. A number of Colonel Saunders' personal items are up for sale in a public auction.
One of the most interesting items and most popular in the pre-bidding online right now is one of the Colonel's string ties, or as people sometimes refer to them as a bolo tie.
The KFC founder's pressure cooker, his watch, a bust sculpted by his daughter in an original cash register are other items that are available. He sold the company to investors back in 1964, but stayed around as a brand ambassador. In fact, the entire Colonel look was apparently made up for the brand. He didn't wear the white suits, the trademark tie, his glasses, or a goatee beforehand. I had no idea. That's all just made up.
Yeah, I had my suspicions, but that's kind of sad to say. I like to think he did.
I know, right?
I like to think he showed up at the breakfast table like that every morning. Right?
It's all a lie.
That's right. Yeah, with a bucket of chicken in one hand and coffee in the other, right? All right, let's get a look at our weather. CTV weather brought to you by Destination Cultus. Unleash the fun at Destination Cultus, BC's best water and theme parks. It's going to be a pretty good day. We're starting off kind of mild. It's 16 degrees and still a bit of cloud around too, and some patchy fog as well, but that should lift later on. The wind is very, very light. It's out of the east. It may pick up a bit once it shifts to the west later on this afternoon. And then also we'll look at the humidex, making things feel a little bit warmer, like up to about 26. We will get up to 21 today, according to our almanac. Our average is 23 this time of year, and last year we were at 25 on this date. In 2009, we set a record for the day at 34 degrees. We'll see the cloud, like I said, and some of that fog clear away for a mix of sun and cloud this afternoon. And we'll get into tomorrow, much the same thing. It'll start off a little cloudy in the morning and then sunny by the afternoon. So today it'll get up to about 21. Those inland temperatures will climb up to about 24. And we'll stay partly cloudy through the morning, sun and cloud into the afternoon, and then a few clouds for tonight. We'll check out the 5-day forecast coming up in a few minutes. Right now, we're going to check in with Mona.
Well, it's Centennial Festival over at Grouse Mountain, where they're celebrating 100 years. And this morning we are back here doing something new and fun and adventurous. And we're doing it this morning with Emily Leake. Good morning.
Good morning.
So Emily, every time I come here, you guys put me up to something new. You're always pushing my boundaries, and I love it because we always have so much fun. Today we are doing
the Mountain Ropes Adventure.
Oh my gosh, so fun. We were also going to do the zip line, but it's so busy that we're going to try this today, and then hopefully people can get an idea and buy the annual pass, which also lets you try both, right? So talk to us a little bit about what's happening with Centennial Festival that's on through August 3rd.
So we are celebrating Grouse Mountain's 100-year anniversary, and in honor of that, we have some very special offers going on. You can book the Mountain Ropes Adventure for $50 or zip lines for $100, and we also have a special on our annual passes. So families can save an additional 30%, and if you get an annual pass plus, it actually includes a complimentary Mountain Ropes Adventure.
All right, Emily, well, we're going to try the exact thing we're recommending. We're going to try a little mini zip line version of the Mountain Ropes course. This one's about 37 meters, so a nice starter course. All right, and now it is my turn. Let's do it. Oh my gosh, Emily, that was exhilarating. We did it! Took me about 5 minutes over there, but I got through it thinking about all the kids that have probably done this and can do this. And now we're going to go try the actual ropes course. So Emily, you guys are well known for your winter programming, but what people might not know is that there's fun summer programming at Grouse really all year long.
All year long. We've got Peak Thrills, you know, Mountain Ropes Adventure, zip lines, the new Grouse Gravity Coaster. And then there's also tons to do up here. You know, if you're a hiker, you want to check out the Lumberjack Show, visit our resident grizzly bears, Grinder and Kula. There's tons to do for everyone.
Yeah, you guys are definitely always putting me up to some thrills.
And you're doing great.
All right, and we are going to spend the morning here at Grouse Mountain. So Emily, thanks for having us and for telling us about all the incredible summer programming you have. And we'll be back next hour. First, we got to finish this mountain rope walk.
Thanks, Mona.
All right, thanks, Mona. New research is shedding light on the plight of medical professionals in this country. Still ahead, how burnout is taking its toll on emergency room physicians and what some of the doctors are planning to do about it. Plus, an urgent appeal this morning for the Canadian Blood Services, why the organization is calling for donors immediately. A dire appeal this morning coming from the Canadian Blood Services. The organization says supply has dropped nearly 20% from June 1st to a point that's not sustainable for patient care. Joining us in studio to share more is Johanna Aguar, Business Development Manager of Canadian Blood Services. Well, thank you so much for coming in studio this morning. We really do appreciate that. So how common is seasonal decline?
Thank you for having me, first of all, Greg. It's actually quite common, so we prepare for that. So we always know from a seasonality point of view, there will be a decline. So it's not unexpected. What we do see is that this decline is a little bit above and beyond what we have expected and prepared for. So what we have seen is a decline between 1,500 to 2,500 appointments every week since June 1st. So when you think about like a sole event, that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you add 6 to 8 weeks compounding to that and know that the appointments, like our sweet point level will be 18,000 appointments per week across Canada, that makes an impact. So right now, we actually can guarantee that we're supplying all the blood products needed to meet the requirements for patients across Canada. But it's not sustainable if we're lacking those appointments. So we need to replenish the inventory levels, and that's why we're here asking our community members to join us, book the appointment today. Next week, we really need to see you in our donor centers.
Absolutely. So what makes this different, and how many days supply do you have right now?
So we do have sufficient, as I said, to meet the inventory levels right now. One thing to take into account is the on-shelf life for blood is only 42 days. So when we think about having a need, we do need to rebook those appointments, invite new donors to come. So we do have sufficient, but it's not sustainable in the long term. That's why we're making this urgent call right now, so we can guarantee that we can commit to continue meeting those needs.
What would be the sufficient amount of bookings that you need to take care of the patients who are demanding this in hospitals right now?
So it will be 18,000.
18,000.
Yeah, across Canada per week. And that's when you see that gap, that's what is impacting us currently. One part that is important also to acknowledge is that 1 out of 2 people in Canada are eligible to donate, but right now only 1 out of 76 are donating. So what we have in eligibility right now or in donor base is only 2%. So when you think about only 2% of people in Canada supporting a 40 million population is not sustainable. So this is also a great opportunity to invite those new donors or donors who haven't donated in a while to actually come and rebook the appointments today.
Okay, so if this trend of low inventory and not enough appointments continues, I guess, what does this mean?
So that's exactly what we're here to avoid.
Okay.
We want to make sure that what we're avoiding is the cost of that. So this is actually something that is under our control. We can actually shift that ship very quickly by just getting the appointments today. So all of us coming together as a nation, getting that sense of belonging, that patriotism to come and donate, that's what it will make that change. But we need to take into account that every blood donation is for ongoing care as well as it is for trauma and emergency care, and we're facing a long weekend. The long weekend for blood demand is quite higher, so we really need the support right away.
Now, someone has a question about whether their blood type is sufficient enough or meets the criteria. How do they reach out? Where do they look?
Absolutely. So they can go on blood.ca, our website. The eligibility will be there. If you have any further questions, there is actually a Q&A that you could do. You can also call our national call center at 1-888-2-DONATE, and there will be a nurse on site in case there are further questions for eligibility. The eligibility is quite simple. We're consistently making adjustments to the eligibility. We want to make sure that we have a more inclusive donor base. Okay. So if you were deferring in the past, take the homework, go into blood.ca, check if you're eligible now, and book the appointment today.
Not everybody lives in Metro Vancouver or the Okanagan area. Where do people go if they do live in a remote area?
So there will be some blood drives in remote areas, but not in all remote areas. So the best way to know where we are located will be to go into blood.ca, hit that book appointment, then you can actually get your postal code or your city, and then they will let you know in distance what would be the closest location to you. One thing to also consider is we are in summertime, so you might be traveling to places that we do have a permanent center or a blood drive. So check on the website as well where your destination would be. You might be able to book an appointment there.
Such an important topic. Thank you so much for stopping by this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. If you've heard the song before, but never like this, take a listen. It's Beat It, medieval version. This totally different take on Michael Jackson is coming up in your Wednesday morning sidebar.
All right, it's 7:53 on this Wednesday morning. Here's your day ahead. We'll see partly cloudy morning into a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. We'll get up to about 21 with a humidex. Could feel like 26, and it'll be 24 degrees inland. And then next few days are not too bad either. Thursday, Friday, similar type of weather and similar temperatures. We do have a good chance of showers, though, popping up on Saturday, but they'll be gone for another mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. There you go.
Okay. Beautiful week ahead.
Yeah, pretty nice. Yeah.
We'll take it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I got at the moment,
yeah,
okay?
I get
Sorry.
It. It's time for your sidebar. All right, well, we kick things off with a Cirque du Soleil performer who isn't letting pregnancy keep her down. Poor baby's in there like, what are we doing? Aruna is a contortionist, hand balancer, and hula hoop artist with a traveling troupe and is still practicing while pregnant. She's due any day now, but she's hoping her training will help out. I think it will. Yeah, I mean, that's some sort of flexibility.
Playtime with that kid's going to be really interesting.
I know.
Yes,
well, it's going to come out being like, I thought we were upside down like the world.
No.
Well, there have been many remakes of popular songs, but probably none like this. So this is what it would sound like if the king of pop was a medieval king. These guys call themselves a medieval bardcore band and are playing their rendition of Michael Jackson's Beat It.
Wow.
What do you guys think?
I love the flute.
Yeah, look at where they filmed
Very
this.
skilled.
It's going to end up in the next Game of Thrones series.
Yeah,
I know.
Get its own character.
Pretty
Kind
good,
of like how Bridgerton does like violin orchestra versions of pop songs. This is what they're doing.
Yeah, throwing it back to, using medieval instruments, right? Yeah.
It's really cool, actually. I like it.
Good, yeah.
Well, finally, this is what it looks like when your dad has main character energy.
I Oh my gosh. Look at him go, this proud papa showing off his skills while joining in on a family celebration. Never a dull moment in this house.
No kidding.
Oh boy. Wow.
I know a lot of people at this point are probably going, oh no, Dad, don't.
Yeah.
But
That is wild.
I can't even imagine my dad doing something like that.
No.
Yeah, just like, yeah, no, don't say.
Don't do it. Craig's
Is that okay? Is he okay?
Yeah.
Well, as long as they had a good time, and it seems like they did.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Okay, well, that's all for your sidebar.
Thank you. That was fun. Vancouver is cutting a contentious development proposal. We'll have more on that. And that's still to come. We'll dive into the council decision to scrap the village's plan amid the tsunami of complaints that they've received and how one councillor believes the reversal was solely political. And concerning a new report this morning about data breaches, still ahead, what the numbers show about how much this tech issue is costing Canadian companies. That's coming up. And the battle to contain the Big Bar fire complex continues, forcing hundreds of people from their homes and communities, including Clinton and 70 Mile House. We'll have the latest on that situation after the break.
This threat is present in every corner of the province.
Fire rages near the remote village of Clinton as those on evacuation alerts or orders are set to learn more from officials today. And a plan to densify parts of Vancouver is rejected by City Council, why some say the decision was purely political. And coming up, details on a floating spa that's just been given the green light for Kitsilano's waterfront. It's Wednesday, July 29th. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Craig Krause. Carrie is off this week. We begin with the latest on BC's fierce wildfire fight. More than a dozen new wildfires sparked in the last 24 hours. Firefighters continue battling major blazes across the province. The Big Bar fire complex near Clinton continues to burn, forcing hundreds from their homes. We're now joined by CTV's Dimitra Maragos, who's been live with us all morning. Well, good morning, Dimitra. This wildfire season is showing no signs of slowing down. What can you tell us about the fire near Clinton this morning?
Yeah, Craig, well, that's exactly right. The Big Bar fire complex continues to burn out of control, forcing hundreds from their homes in the Clinton and 70 Mile House region. Now, the Pear Lake fire has now merged with the 59 Creek fire, creating a massive wildfire spanning more than 66,000 hectares. The complex also includes the French Bar fire, which is also out of control. The BC Wildfire Service warns the next 48 hours could be critical, with hot, dry conditions, gusty winds, and the threat of thunderstorms all expected to drive extreme fire behavior and rapid growth. The province says crews remain focused on protecting homes and critical infrastructure, while downed power lines and heavy smoke continue to create dangerous conditions. While Premier Eby is offering these words to people in the area.
I understand a number of people in Clinton may be hearing that they've lost homes or other structures, businesses in the region today. First of all, I just want to say I know all British Columbians are thinking of those folks right now, and knowing with the wildfire seasons we've had that this threat is present in every corner of the province.
The Thompson-Nicola Regional District, as well as the Village of Clinton, will be having a joint meeting online today at 1:30 to address any concerns regarding evacuations, alerts, or general fire information. Craig?
Dimitra Maragos reporting live in Port Coquitlam this morning. Thanks, Dimitra. Vancouver City Council is backing away from a controversial development plan known as 17 Villages. The plan to densify parts of the city by creating more low-rise housing has officially been defeated. Mayor Ken Sim introduced the Villages plan 3 years ago, but council said it received a tsunami of opposition. The Villages plan aimed to allow more low-rise housing in mixed developments in 17 neighborhoods, spurring a public hearing that lasted for days. Some councillors say the plan required more engagement and did not strike the right balance, but the opposition is calling the whole process a waste of time and resources and insists it was all political.
I think it was influenced by the outcome of the election, or the potential for negative outcome of the election. Because again, this was very clear direction from the mayor and his political party, and they've done an about-face on it.
I do think that no homeowner should feel that City Hall is deciding the future of their property without their voice being heard.
The council meeting did approve some changes to increase density, though, but nothing nearly as grand, instead allowing for small apartments on single-family lots. Meantime, it's full steam ahead for a new floating spa project on Kitsilano's waterfront. Council approved the proposal unanimously, which will see a Second World War-era barge repurposed into a wellness spa located near the Maritime Museum. The museum teamed up with Haven Saunas to make the pitch to the city for rezoning in the hopes it would drive up visitors in that area, and a lot of residents dove in with their say at last night's public hearing.
I'm extremely upset about it, as you may tell. I don't want that swimming beach destroyed. There's a lot of us go there all the time. There's families with kids there.
This is an absolute world-class facility. It's one of those facilities you'll see in a airplane travel magazine. More importantly, I'm excited about this project because it actually gives additional support to one of the best and underrated museums of Vancouver, the Maritime Museum.
The opening date isn't expected until mid-2027. And tenants and advocates in Vancouver's downtown east side are sounding the alarm, warning hundreds of low-income residents could be displaced as several SRO buildings face foreclosure.
It is a crisis because when new landlords like this one at the West Hotel takes over, we do see changes that don't necessarily benefit the tenants and could lead to homelessness and more street disorder.
Multiple SROs have recently foreclosed or about to, and advocates are urging all levels of government to act quickly and create a permanent fund that would allow nonprofit organizations to buy buildings in financial distress. A concerning new report is out this morning from tech giant IBM. It's showing how data breaches are becoming more costly for Canadian companies. For more on this, let's bring in CTV Scott Hurst live in the National Newsroom. Well, good morning, Scott. Some interesting numbers around data breaches and their costs this morning. Tell us about it.
Craig, good morning. As it appears, technology continues to dominate pretty much every aspect of our lives. It's hard to get away from it. And with everything being more interconnected with every passing day, of course, it can come at a cost. Data breaches are becoming much more costly for Canadian companies. This is according to a new report from tech giant IBM. It shows organizations were forced to pay an average of $7.1 million per data breach in 2026. That's up from just under $7 million the year before. And it's not just the money that's adding up. The data breaches are becoming larger and longer lasting. The average breach is exposing roughly 28,500 records and took more than 200 days to detect and contain the impact, also an increase from the year before. Of course, it's not just the businesses paying the price. However, the impacts can be felt far and wide, all the way down to us, the consumer, through things like service interruption and having our data exposed. Organizations becoming much more interconnected, as I mentioned. The cyber risk is now extending well beyond the individual business or organization, Craig.
There's also a clear focus on energy. What does the report say about cyber attacks against Canada's energy industry?
A clear focus on energy from cyber attackers, and really a clear focus on infrastructure. Energy organizations reported the highest average costs associated per incident of these data breaches at more than $9.2 million. That's followed by technology organizations and other industrial organizations. Really highlights the growing financial impact these cyber attacks can have on critical infrastructure. Also, when it comes to data breaches, AI is both helping and hurting. According to the report, organizations that deployed AI in their security operations reported a cost of an average breach to be much lower and contain the impacts significantly faster. However, globally, there has been more than a 50% increase in AI-driven attacks, Craig.
Scott Hurst reporting live from the National Newsroom this morning. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Craig.
All right, Cultus Lake Water Park is getting set to reopen parts of the park this weekend. This after an electrical issue injured several people last month and forced the attraction to close. The park says in a statement that Technical Safety BC has not yet completed its investigation. It says the park will reopen in phases and hot tubs will remain closed. The park's website says it will be back to regular hours on Saturday with extended hours for the second and third week of August. Nanaimo hammer throw champion Ethan Katzberg added another major title to his growing list of achievements, taking the gold at the Commonwealth Games in Scotland. Not only did Katzberg strike gold, the 24-year-old set a Commonwealth Games record with his very first throw of 80.97 meters. That record throw comes 4 years after earning silver at the last Games. Katzberg is already a two-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist, and CTV News spoke with him about the special meaning of this victory. Take a listen.
There's criteria for being a Canadian hammer thrower, and the mustache is a part of the outfit. The Commonwealth Games holds a special place in my heart. It's the first senior team I was on, first senior medal. I took silver at the last one. So to come back here and win the gold is incredibly special to me.
Fellow hammer throw athlete Rowan Hamilton of Chilliwack, my hometown, took home the bronze. A bizarre discovery inside an airline passenger's luggage has helped solve a robbery. This guy definitely wasn't traveling light. These cannonballs were found in a suitcase at Alabama's Gulf Shores International Airport. The TSA says there were 5 small cannonballs wrapped in paper towels. The largest was about the size of a grapefruit, and police say the cannonballs were stolen from a museum in nearby Fort Morgan and that they had to be taken by a youth. The historical items were returned, and the facility's director chose not to press charges. That is quite the thing to pack in your luggage,
No
but
kidding.
Stolen, and a youth might have taken it as well. What an odd story.
Yeah, I know. Dude, get a T-shirt.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, get a magnet or something. Exactly.
Why, yeah, like a magnet or maybe a little, like keychain or something like that. Yeah. You don't have to. Not a smart thing. Not a smart thing. Not a frequent flyer, I don't think. No. All right, let's get a look at your weather. BC weather brought to you by the BC Lions Fan Fest game. Lions take on Hamilton on Saturday, August 8th. Celebrate with pre-game Disney characters, face painting, and free weekday P&E entry with every ticket. Tickets at bclions.com. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to today. It will be pretty good. It's cloudy right now and has been for most of the morning. It's 16 degrees. And we've seen some of that patchy shallow fog kind of hang around. That will go quickly too. Wind is out of the east at 4, so it's very light. It will pick up a bit and switch to the west later at about 20 kilometers an hour. We will see that cloud clear away and what's left of that patchy fog as well. We'll go with a mainly sunny afternoon. We'll go a mix of sun and cloud at best, too, and it will get warmer. 21 near the water. That's going to be about 24 degrees inland. And then we'll see it all with the humidex. It's going to make it feel even warmer, too. So a partly cloudy morning, sun and cloud into the afternoon. There's that 21. That's going to be near the seaside, as I mentioned. And then a few clouds coming tonight and a little bit more cloud building up overnight as well. We'll check out the 5-day forecast and more, and also go over the warnings. Still air quality warnings in effect for much of the province, too. So we'll detail those in a few minutes. Great.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you, Mark. Great. We've all heard about burnout, but what about rust out?
Lack of inspiration. It is sucking the life out of you.
What to know about career rust out and how to know if it's impacting you at work. And new research is revealing understaffing is taking its toll on emergency room doctors and medical professionals across the country. And coming up, what some of the physicians are planning to do about it.
All right, time now for this morning's Skywatch, and it's a live look from Grouse Mountain, looking south back over downtown Stanley Park. Lots of blue sky around as that cloud slowly clears away. It will be getting warmer, too. 21 near the seaside. That's going to be 24 degrees inland.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
New research is showing that Canada's already beleaguered healthcare system is continuing to be stretched to its limit. Burnout is taking its toll on emergency room doctors, with 1 in 10 saying they're leaving their position because of it. Here to talk about it today is emergency physician Dr. Caitlin Stockton. Well, good morning, Caitlin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Can you explain for anyone who may not know exactly what burnout is?
Yeah, basically this is exhaustion. It's more than that though, particularly in emergency medicine. It's something called moral distress. When we can't do our jobs properly, patients suffer and patients actually die, preventable deaths. And this takes an incredible toll on your mental well-being, as you can imagine. And over time, this leads to, moral injury and really just the loss of desire to carry on in a system in which you feel powerless to control the outcome.
As we mentioned in the intro, 1 in 10 is already such a shocking number to see, but even more are cutting back. How many doctors are reducing their hours or taking time away?
Yeah, so this study showed that 50% of physicians are cutting back their clinical hours. And, this is not a surprise to us on the ground. We certainly see this. And this is intensely concerning because we already have such a shortage of healthcare providers. And if 10% are leaving and 50% are reducing their hours, we don't really have a robust plan to retain these providers, then we're in real trouble.
This is already such a high-stress position to be in to begin with. But with a shortage of staff, how many hours are some of these ER doctors working?
A lot of people are working more than they're supposed to and more than they can really sustain, which is, of course, only worsening the burnout crisis. But really, we do love our jobs. We all went into this knowing that it was a very challenging but rewarding profession. The problem is that we can't really do our jobs without resources. We can't possibly see and treat patients who are having emergencies without beds, without monitors, without nursing staff, without support staff, without access to specialty care, without access to diagnostic imaging. And instead, we're finding ourselves just witnessing preventable patient harm and preventable patient deaths. And like I said, it's just incredibly demoralizing when you feel like you're powerless to change that.
We're talking about patients here as well, along with physicians, but what are some of the negative effects that dealing with burnout can have on not only the doctors, but also patients?
Yeah, really, we're just stuck in this vicious cycle right now where, overcrowding, chronic overcrowding, overcapacity, and chronic lack of resources is leading to preventable patient harm. This, like we said, leads to burnout, leads to staff leaving, which unfortunately worsens wait times, worsens preventable patient harm, and then, on and on it goes. And the only real way to break this vicious cycle is system reform. We really do need proactive, evidence-based system reform. And unfortunately, what we're getting right now is a lot of Band-Aid solutions and, PR angles to healthcare. And it's really unfortunate because, healthcare is a long game. I understand that it's very political, but politics is not a long game. And what we need is to separate politics from healthcare and to have true independent oversight in order to get out of this vicious cycle.
So what would be that long-term fix? How do you solve this problem?
Yeah, so the Canadian Association of Emergency Physicians published a report in 2024 with really comprehensive recommendations on exactly how we can solve the crisis that we're in right now. I myself founded and chaired a working group in BC, and we proposed legislative changes, which we titled No Patient Left Behind, and we presented these proposals to the Minister of Health and the Ministry of Health. And so far we haven't seen any of these recommendations be put into place by government. These are really basic things that are necessary for the success of any organization. We need reliable data. We need to know what our targets are. What is an acceptable wait time? How many patients should have access to a family physician, et cetera. This data needs to be transparently shared with the public and also, of course, with decision makers. And we need accountability. We need defined accountability. Who is responsible for making sure that patients have reliable, timely access to emergency care? And when they don't have access to that care, who is being held responsible? These are basic questions that unfortunately we just don't have the answers to.
Well, Dr. Stockton, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, wild weather is wreaking havoc for passengers across some U.S. states, and still ahead, the severe storms and the tech problems sending air travel into turmoil for thousands of passengers. And are you feeling a lack of inspiration at your job? Well, up next, what to know about career rust out and how to know if it's impacting you at work.
Experience the Wizard of Oz on ice daily at the P&E Fair from August 22nd to September 7th. Join Dorothy and her friends as they embark on a magical journey through Oz, brought to life with stunning visuals. Enter for your chance to win a 4-pack of P&E Fair and Ride Passes by visiting ctvvancouver.ca, or you can scan the QR code right there on your screen. Good luck. It's 8:23 on this Wednesday morning. We're starting off, it's been mostly cloudy, but the clouds starting to clear away for a mainly sunny afternoon, we'll call it. 21 is our high today, checking our almanac. Yep, that's around average for this time of year and pretty close to what it was last year on this day. And on this day in 2009, it was a lot warmer. We set a record on that day at 34 degrees. Air quality warning, though, still in effect. The orange warnings have been dropped, but they're still in the yellow category for much of the interior. For the Okanagan, Columbia, Kootenay regions, 100-mile region, Caribou, and Prince George due to that wildfire smoke. So across the province today, yes, it will still be smoky through Kelowna and Kamloops is still warm, up to 29 in Kamloops, 20 in Prince George and Fort St. John. Over on the north coast, you're seeing showers in Prince Rupert and also showers and then some clearing in Masset, and the same conditions for Bella Coola. Here across the lower mainland, we'll see the cloud clear away and what's left of that patchy fog for sun and cloud for this afternoon, and then clouding up a little bit tomorrow morning, but then that's gone by the afternoon as well. Temperatures will remain seasonal as well. 17 and cloudy in Port Hardy. Campbell River, Comox sitting being mainly sunny and 21 today. 23 in Nanaimo. 24 in Port Alberni. Showers and drizzle out at Tofino today with highs of 18, and clearing in Victoria today with highs of 21. Sunshine Coast, you may get a shower or two before the morning is out. Also up the Sea to Sky region, it's going to be mostly sunny and 20 in Whistler, 23 in Squamish, and 21 here near the seaside, 24 degrees inland around much of the lower mainland. So tomorrow, similar conditions as well, 23 to 27 on Friday. And then Saturday, you're looking at a chance of showers, a good chance of showers as well, but then clearing up for a nice day on Sunday with a mix of sun and cloud as well.
Great. Things are warming up. Thanks, Mark. Yep. Well, we've all heard about burnout on the job, but this is something a lot different. It's being called career rust. But what is it, and how do you know if it's impacting you at work? ABC's Elizabeth Schultze has some answers.
Where do you work, Peter?
In a tech.
And yeah, what do you do there?
I sit in a cubicle.
It's that all too familiar feeling of boredom or lack of motivation at work.
Everyone around me seems so much more motivated about work than I am.
Unlike burnout, where employees are exhausted from a heavy workload, people suffering from career rust out because of a lack of purpose or stimulation.
The lack of inspiration, it is sucking the life out of you.
Gabriella Flack says she experienced rust out working in tech, doing repetitive tasks each day.
There was a mental detachment from my job where even as a high performer, I kept showing up, but it was not with that same vitality that I knew I'd experienced in other ways of working. I lost excitement for the work itself.
The number of applicants per job has doubled. So that competition is fierce. So a lot of people are saying to themselves, maybe I'm not the most motivated, but I'm just going to stay here.
LinkedIn career expert Catherine Fisher says some boredom is normal, but not if it lasts for months or years.
If it's been a long time that you're just not feeling that motivation, ask yourself, what would make you feel more motivated? What could you learn? Is there a stretch assignment that you could do to help you kind of get excited about the work again?
Elizabeth Schultze, ABC News, Washington.
And I think one way of doing it is just scheduling like those long weekends here and there rather than taking like this 2-week vacation. Maybe take a day here, 2 days here, something like that. I think it really helps.
Yeah,
it does help, yeah.
And just getting yourself kind of more involved, I guess, in maybe different projects, but at the same time, just like she said, like you really should look inwards and think, is this job motivating me enough to like keep on going? Because sometimes you need to pivot, and that's okay. I mean, it's hard, but you can do it.
Purpose is really important.
Exactly, and you guys will agree with me too. We've been very fortunate because we're never bored in a job like this. If we get burnout, it's because of the amount of work that we put in. Everything else. So I've had career interruption a couple of times.
Okay.
Times. Career interruption and a career course change here and there, but no, other than that,
keeps life interesting.
Absolutely.
It's all part of life. We're going to take a look outside right now. I believe we're going to Victoria. Look at that. A beautiful morning in the Victoria Harbor. We're going to dive into our top stories right now. Let's get into it.
Well,
Well, good morning and thank you for joining us. We begin with the latest on BC's wildfire fight. An explosive wildfire burning near the remote village of Clinton remains out of control this morning, forcing hundreds of people from their homes. It comes as officials are set to hold an information session today for residents who have already evacuated or are at risk of doing so. We're now joined by CTV's Dimitra Maragos, who's been live with us all morning. Well, good morning, Dimitra. What's the latest in the situation?
Craig, well, the Pear Lake fire has now merged with the 59 Creek wildfire. Together, they're over 66,000 hectares still burning out of control. And the BC Wildfire Service says the next 48 hours could be critical.
With this weather outlook for these next couple of days, we're really expecting extreme fire behavior expected today, and significant growth on these incidents is definitely possible.
Crews remain focused on protecting homes and critical infrastructure as dangerous fire conditions continue. Across the province, more than 135 wildfires are burning. Near Boston Bar, the Brunswick Fire Complex also remains out of control. The BC Wildfire Service says the complex includes the Brunswick Creek, Ainsley Creek, and Anderson Creek fires, with firefighters continuing to protect communities, Highway 1, and other critical infrastructure as evacuation orders and alerts remain in place. Now, more than a dozen new wildfires have popped up just in the last 24 hours as firefighters continue to keep an eye ahead on the weather. Craig?
Dimitra Maragos reporting live all morning this morning. Thank you again for your reports, and we'll have updates on ctvnews.ca as those come available this morning. Thanks again, Dimitra. Well, overseas now, a massive wildfire in southwest France has forced over 220,000 people to flee their homes. Fire west of Bordeaux has scorched an area 4 times the size of Paris. Authorities have evacuated 24 towns and villages, prioritizing safety. Most evacuees are staying in temporary shelters. Wild weather in the U.S. is wreaking havoc for flights. ABC's Gio Benitez has more.
Overnight, severe storms and tech troubles sending air travel into turmoil for thousands across the country.
We might have bigger problems, I think, that American Airlines' entire fleet might be ground stopped for an IT problem nationwide.
After American Airlines temporarily grounded all flights due to a nationwide IT outage.
My flight was supposed to leave at 5:30, and then to find out that my transfer flight was being delayed as well, and then it delayed again, and then another time. And then finally, when they said that we were going to be leaving around 9 o'clock, that's when the flight was completely canceled.
The airline quickly resolving the issue, releasing a statement overnight saying a technology issue briefly impacted connectivity for some of our systems on Tuesday evening. But this comes as many airlines were already impacted by the severe storms that ravaged the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic earlier in the day. More than 2,500 flights canceled, nearly 8,500 delayed, New York getting it the worst.
It's really hard not to stay in the airport overnight.
All this as we're learning of a close call at the nation's busiest airport.
My goodness, what a night.
2 Delta planes nearly colliding midair near Hartsfield-Jackson Airport.
Somebody on the runway?
He's exiting now.
Delta 1568 going around.
Authorities say as one of the planes was taking off, it crossed into the path of another plane trying to land. Delta saying the flight landed safely and customers deplaned normally. Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
A landmark agreement has been signed that will see Canada supply 2 million tons of BC LNG to European markets, including Germany, the UK, Sweden, and the Netherlands.
This is an important moment for the Nisga'a Nation, whose vision and leadership help make this a reality. For workers and communities across British Columbia. For Canada's partnerships with allies seeking secure and reliable sources of energy. And for our country's ambition as a global energy superpower.
Ottawa calls the deal the first of its kind. The deal will begin in 2032 and will last for up to 20 years. And Canada's top trade minister is in Washington for negotiations with the U.S. this week. And last night, Dominic LeBlanc made an appearance at the Washington Nationals and Toronto Blue Jays game in what was billed as a goodwill friendship game.
Relations are a little strained right now between Canada and the U.S., and so we need events like this just to get together on a human, personal level.
LeBlanc could be seen on the field watching closely as both teams pose for a photo near home plate. Canada's new U.S. Ambassador Mark Wiseman also threw out the game's first pitch. The friendly moment comes amidst tough trade negotiations between Canada and the U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump recently indicated he didn't care about the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement, or CUSMA. There are also just 3 more weeks before Trump hits a range of Canadian exports with 50% tariffs. And Canadian hockey fans will now have to fork over more money to watch NHL games on Wednesdays if they're not already subscribers to Amazon Prime.
It's hockey, and it's on Prime.
The streaming service will be the exclusive broadcaster of Wednesday night games in Canada for the next 12 years in both English and French. The deal is a sub-licensing agreement with NHL rights holder Rogers, and it comes weeks after it was announced that Hockey Night in Canada would no longer be carried on CBC, bringing a long-standing tradition to an end. And BC-born hockey phenom Macklin Celebrini has nearly 19 million reasons to smile this morning. He signed a mega contract extension with the San Jose Sharks that makes him the highest paid player in the NHL. The 5-year deal will see the 20-year-old from North Vancouver local kid earn $18.8 million per season. Celebrini still has a year left on his rookie deal, so this will kick in the year after that. He led his team with 45 goals and 115 points this past season. Wow, that's a lot of money. And heads up, Toronto Raptors fans, they're coming to Vancouver for preseason action. The Raptors are set to play at Rogers Arena on Saturday, October 10th. And interestingly enough, they'll play the LA Clippers. The Raptors and Clippers agreed on a big trade that sent Kawhi Leonard to Toronto earlier this offseason. However, the deal is on hold as an investigation into Leonard's past contract and endorsement deals is carried out. And Celebrate BC Festival is returning for another year. Coming up, Chef Camille Savanek joins us with a taste of what to expect at BC's largest wild salmon barbecue. And a classical musical has opened its doors in Vancouver. Still ahead, what to know about Whodunit, the popular board game and the cult classic movie.
Hey there, Lindsay Hamilton inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. We are taking a trip to Cincinnati for this one. It is the Guardians and Reds. Cincy up 2-zip in the 9th. Petey Halpin representing the tying run. Belts one to right center, but Dane Myers, real nice catch at the wall. And that will end the ball game. The Red center fielder going hard to make that clutch grab. Help Cincinnati earn their 5th win in 7 games and also earns your must-see moment. Meanwhile, tonight, we've got MLB on TSN as the Yankees taking on the White Sox. It all gets going 7:30 p.m. Eastern on TSN 1, 4, and 5. That's all for now from SportsCenter Newsroom. Have a fantastic day.
Let the game begin.
Well, from the board game to the silver screen and now the live stage, a classic Whodunit is coming to life in Vancouver. Clue, inspired by the popular board game and the cult classic movie, has opened to audiences at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre. Here to tell us all about it is one of the cast members, Adam Brett. Well, Adam, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So this play really is everything. It's a comedy, it's a murder mystery, it's everything.
Yeah, it's this like fast-paced, high-stakes murder mystery. You get shot out of a cannon, and there's thrills and shrieks and laughs just throughout the 75-minute show.
So tell us about the setting of the story, a deadly dinner party?
Yeah, so kind of these iconic characters that we all know and love, Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet, so on and so forth, get invited to this kind of old Gothic mansion, and they don't really know why, and, you know, secrets start to unfold, and more guests start to appear, and murders pop out of closets and other rooms and kitchens and, you know, dining rooms, and we start to uncover who is murdering all these people.
So we know about the board game, we know about the movie. This is really based off of the movie though, right?
Yeah, this is for fans of the movie. If you come see our play, you'll really appreciate all the kind of nods to this iconic movie that we all know and love. And it also, of course, pays homage to the original board game and just the classic style of a murder mystery.
That is so cool. So there's a lot of legendary characters in this movie. We all know picking your character in the games as well.
Yeah.
Where did you draw your inspiration from for this? this? Was it from the movie? Was it through other performances in the past?
Yeah, I mean, very much from the movie, because my character Wadsworth, he is the butler, and he's not a playable character in the board game. So he was brought to life by Tim Curry in the movie, and he's just very rigid, very particular, very uptight, but he's your British butler, and he kind of runs this household. And he's the one kind of commandeering these guests through this mansion, trying to solve this mystery.
And there's so many personalities within this. Was it difficult to manage that and to kind of navigate it, or what was that like?
Well, it's a fun navigation for sure. I mean, our cast is spectacular. I mean, this show is a team sport. I mean, we are all, literally solving this murder mystery together, but we are also kind of holding each other's hands and just running through this mansion together as a cast. And to have an audience inside, for them to laugh and shriek and gasp, it creates this really special moment in theater.
When it comes to theater acting, it's more of a marathon than it is of a sprint. What kind of preparation goes into this?
So much. I mean, so much stretching. It's very mental too. I mean, you got to warm up your voice and your body, but it's also your mind too, and being so focused. I mean, it's just so fast. So, if you drop the ball for a second, all of a sudden, you're 3 lines behind, and you got to get back on there. But it's such a thrill. I mean, you really get shot out of a cannon, and you just rise, until the end.
What's your technique to warm up your voice?
Oh, I have so many embarrassing sounds that I make.
Oh, no. Can you give us a sample?
The cast can do all of my warm-up, I'm sure, but shout out to my college professors who taught me how to warm up my voice, Lisa and Asar. I love you both and appreciate you a lot.
Oh, well, thanks, Adam. Brett, Clue runs at a Queen Elizabeth Theatre until August 2nd. Thank you so much for stopping by this morning.
Thanks so much for having me, Craig.
Absolutely. We're moving forward here. We have Mark to take a look at the weather. Mark, how's it looking out there?
It's looking good, and I just want to say I saw Clue last night, and I was talking to Adam just before he came on the air, too, how much I enjoyed it. And every individual performer is great in their own right, but they work together so well, as he was saying. So, yeah, go check it out if you can. It's great. It's great. It's a lot of fun. It's very entertaining. All right, let's get to your weather. CTV weather brought to you by the BC Lions Fan Fest game. Lions take on Hamilton Saturday, August 8th. Celebrate with pregame Disney characters, face painting, and free weekday P&E entry with every ticket. Tickets at bclions.com. Pretty good day shaping up to right now. It's 16 degrees still. It's been kind of cloudy, but partly cloudy through most of the morning. And wind is very light out of the east. That will shift out of the west and pick up a bit, up to about 20 km later on this morning. Air quality warning, it's still in the yellow zone across much of the province. So poor air quality continues for the Okanagan, Columbia region, Kootenay, 100 Mile House, Caribou, and also through Prince George. There was an orange warning. That's dropped, but it is still in effect in the yellow category. And across the province today, still sunny but hazy through Kelowna, also through Kamloops. Up towards Prince George is 20 degrees, 20 in Fort St. John. You do have some showers in Prince Rupert, showers and then some clearing in Masset, and then showers and clearing in Bella Coola. Here across the south coast, it's overcast in Port Hardy today. Mainly sunny in Campbell River, Comox, and highs of 21. 23 in Nanaimo. Port Alberni will be 24, a little more cloud there, and you've got some light rain drizzle in Tofino at 18, and then clearing in Victoria today with highs of 21. 21 as well across the Sunshine Coast with maybe a couple of sprinkles and then some clearing later. Sun and cloud through both Squamish and Whistler today, 20 in Whistler. And here for the lower mainland, we'll see temperatures 21 near the seaside. That's going to be 24 degrees inland. But the humidex is going to feel even warmer, up to about maybe 26 or so. And then really no change for the next couple of days after that through Thursday and Friday. Yeah, Saturday comes, and yes, we've got a 70% chance of some showers. Won't last all day, though. And then into Sunday, it'll be a nice mix of sun and cloud as well, with highs of about 21. Let's check back in right now with Mona.
Well, all morning we have been here on Grouse Mountain celebrating a century of stories, a century of them being here and opening recreationally. And we're here with Emily Leak now, who's the communications manager. Emily, what a thrill it was to do that ropes course last hour.
What a morning. That'll wake you up.
I know, it really will. So talk to us a little bit about Centennial Festival. It runs through the weekend, August 3rd. What makes this different than regular summer programming?
This is our biggest event that we're throwing to celebrate celebrate, of course, 100 years of mountain memories. We've got lots of special offers, but we've also got lots of fun events. We're doing really cool drone shows. The last one is on Sunday, August 2nd. We've also got live music with Coors Light presents Music Loud, Mountains Blue. There's food trucks around, all our regular programming as well. Movies on the Mountain is back with Jurassic Park on Thursday.
Fun.
It'll be pretty fun this week.
Absolutely. You guys have really turned Grouse into this year-round destination. Talk to us a little bit about what folks can expect from that drone show, because A Century of Stories is quite the title.
Yeah, the drone show is really incredible. It kind of opens with our cultural educator, William Nahaney, performing the Eagle Song. And I don't want to give too much away, but it really does walk you through kind of the history of Grouse Mountain and all the incredible innovation and milestones along the way.
If you could recommend one activity folks do on the mountain this summer, what would it be?
I mean, after we did the Mountain Ropes adventure, but also the Grouse Gravity Coaster is pretty incredible too.
Yes, and that's the first summer that it's open,
Brand
which
new.
we tried last time we were here, and that was a thrill as well. And what I love is that there's so many accessible things for all ages and all folks. So lots to do on Grouse Mountain as they celebrate 100 years of recreation. This summer, Centennial Festival is on through August 3rd. You can head online and get discounted tickets to try a bunch of different thrill-seeking activities on the mountain. And when you do, make sure to stop by, and cheers to 100 years on Grouse Mountain. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Well, we're continuing this week's celebration of local food and all the growers and makers who create it. Every morning we will be featuring a different chef, and today we're talking about BC's largest wild salmon barbecue happening during Celebrate BC Day on Monday. And joining us is Chef Camille Sauvignac from the Chef's Table Society. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. So what are we making?
So today we're gonna make some salmon burger.
Okay.
So we take some BC wild salmon.
Okay.
And we cook it. So I cook it with really simple. You don't need to go crazy. Just put nice quality olive oil in your pan. If it's thick like that, I will say 3 minutes on each side. If you want your skin a little crispier, add 30 seconds. If it's thinner than that, go 2 minutes, 2 minutes and a half. It's better to have it a little undercooked than overcooked.
And it's a skin side first, right? When
Yes.
you cook it? Okay. Okay.
And after, we have some salad, come from BC as well.
Okay.
We have a honey dressing with local honey. Again, we are really local
Wow.
today. And some local tomato as well. And if you want to do that at home, go to your favorite bakery, get some quality buns, and just make it at home. It's really simple, and we're gonna do it together today.
That is so great. Okay, let's get into this. How do we build this thing?
So do you want to take the dressing and put some on the salad?
Definitely do. How much do I put in?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, a little too much maybe.
And after we can take the tongue.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you, and you're gonna keep going. So you just want to toast it.
Okay, and this is lettuce locally grown?
Yes.
Okay. And the sauce again is honey dill, did you say?
So this one is honey and balsamic vinegar.
Ah, okay.
And this is what we're going to be serving in August 3rd at the biggest BC salmon event.
It smells incredible.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's tossed correctly.
That's amazing. Good job. You're made for this.
Perfect.
So now you can open the bun.
Okay.
And we're going to take...
Do you prefer an untoasted bun with this?
I'd rather do that.
Okay.
A lot of people like it toast. But I like the fact it's still like you have the crunchiness of the skin already, so I don't want to add too much crunch.
Yeah, okay.
My personal preference.
Too much crunch, okay.
Yeah. So you can put your piece of salmon.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to open mine up.
Yeah.
These actually remind me of the buns my Oma used to make when I was a kid.
This is the best.
Yeah, they're so soft. And, oh my gosh, they're great. Okay, so what's next?
So after we can take some tomatoes.
Okay. And these tomatoes are growing here locally as well?
Everything is from BC.
Wow.
We really want to showcase BC food and everyone who work.
Absolutely.
All the farmer.
Amazing. And with these tomatoes, do you put salt on them? Do you put pepper on them? How does that work?
I put a little of salt. Some people like pepper, but because I already put pepper on the salmon, I didn't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
And after we can take the same tongue, and we're gonna put some lettuce.
Okay. And the barbecue that's happening in Coquitlam, maybe explain to me some of the details around that as well.
So we have 2 different events happening for Celebrate BC.
Yeah.
We have one in August 3rd in Port Moody, and the second one is in Coquitlam on August 3rd.
So much fun.
Yeah. And this August 3rd, we will have lots and lots of salmon burger.
Okay.
The 50 first people who are going to be online, it's going to be free.
Okay.
For everyone else, it's going to be $10, and you have lots of vendors, lots of food truck.
Okay.
It's amazing, good music. It's a family-friendly event for both. So we want to make it accessible. You can just come for free, walk around, enjoy the music.
Okay.
If you want to buy food, everyone can have, all the food truck and stuff gonna have one item who's like only $10.
Okay.
Because
okay.
we wanted to make accessible for everyone.
But to get in, it's completely free.
Yeah. If you just want to walk around, see what's happening, and and you're like, oh my God, this looks so good. Take your credit card. €10, $10, and you have something amazing.
Okay, hopefully not €10. That'd be pretty pricey.
Yeah,
our exchange is not doing too well right now. Okay, so now we've got to create it.
Yeah.
So what? You just eat it next. There's no other ingredients that go in it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, you want to keep it simple. When you have beautiful produce like BC, just keep it simple. Showcase the produce. Don't go crazy.
Okay, everybody in my ear right now is telling me to eat it. I know a lot of viewers don't like to see when people eat on TV, but I'm going to give it a shot here. I apologize. Turn your TV off now if that's a problem for you. That's good. I think the soft bun with the crispy skin of the salmon is the perfect way to do it.
Amazing. Glad you like it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, the Salmon Festival taking place over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
And thank you again. This is delicious.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to go to break, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Take care. Good morning and welcome back. It was a squirrely situation at the ballpark as a pesky trespasser invaded the Detroit Tigers field. It's almost football season. And the play-by-play announcer called all the action. Take a listen.
The chase for the squirrel is on, and the squirrel is in the corner, and the squirrel is still eluding an entire horde of grounds crew members. And the squirrel's free once again. Hemmed in? No, I won't be hemmed in. And hops through the towel. And hops through another towel. The force field is activated. Towels can't stop him, or maybe they can.
And once the squirrel was wrangled, the Tigers say it was released unharmed outside of the stadium. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, there's some football moves in there too.
Yeah, I know,
Craig,
juking around like Barry Sanders.
That's wild.
I love the play-by-play guy. And there comes the squirrel, and he's rounding second. He's made it to third. He's got a double.
You might as well do it, right?
First towel, second towel, third towel.
Having fun with it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, artists in Japan are getting ready for the National Chalk Art Championship. It's a bit of a departure from painting on canvas or drawing on a tablet, and unlike other forms of art, chalkboard creations are meant to be erased, of course. Artists call it a reminder that nothing lasts forever. Look at that.
Wow, that's quite
so pretty,
poignant.
Right? But it makes sense, right? When you do art, it's kind of like that visual expression, and then you can just clean slate.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm more sentimental than that. I'm like, I don't want to erase it. Worked so hard on it.
That's right. Well, at my high school in Abbotsford Yale Secondary, we had a chalkboard in one of the classrooms where they preserved this amazing art that was done on it with chalk, with glass. It was there for years and years and years. Yeah, it was really
Maybe it's still there.
Yeah, I wonder.
I always like those chalk menus that they put up in restaurants sometimes with the stylized letters and everything else.
That has some great penmanship for that.
Yeah, it's very artistic. I love it. Well, finally, the story behind a 4-year-old's unexpected walking companion and how it helps keep the memory of a beloved family pet close on this morning's Encore Sawatsky Sign-Off.
On any given day, you'll find 4-year-old Amelia walking with just one lizard.
She's not a real lizard, she's just a toy lizard.
A toy lizard named Lizzie, whose story begins with a very real dog named Zuri.
Who was my wife's dog from the time she was a puppy.
And when Kyler Nurmsu's wife got pregnant, they couldn't wait to introduce Zuri to their first baby.
I met real Zuri in my mommy's tummy.
Unfortunately, they had to put real Zuri down less than 2 months before Amelia was born.
That was really devastating to not have the two of them meet.
So Kyler found a chocolate lab stuffy that his wife brought to the hospital so Zuri could be there in spirit when they welcomed Amelia into the world.
Eventually, Amelia kind of claimed that stuffed animal as her own and wanted to take it for walks.
Whenever her dad would take their remaining dog, Baloo, for walks, Amelia would do the same with their stuffed animal, Zuri.
Which I think is especially meaningful for my wife, but certainly for both of us.
Despite how caring Amelia was with that toy dog, the girl considered it her parents' pet. So when Kyler and his wife happened upon a store that was selling a rubber lizard on a leash,
we're like, that is going to be perfect for Amelia to take for walks.
They were right. Amelia and Lizzie have been going for daily walks ever since.
Makes me feel happy and Lizzie feel happy.
While Kyler and Baloo's goal is simply exercise, Amelia and Lizzie are also pursuing creative escapades.
This is Lizzie's skateboard.
When Lizzie isn't racing around on skateboards constructed from leaves, the lizard is bravely leaping off giant cliffs, so Amelia can find the courage to do the same. A very real dog's legacy of love, passed down from parent to child to lizard to everyone, Amelia hopes, who passes by.
Makes people feel really happy.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.
The Sawatsky sign-off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
It makes people feel very happy.
Absolutely.
What a good story.
I know. I love it. And now I'm excited to try these salmon burgers.
Gosh. I know, it was hard to be up there. I wanted to just destroy it, but I had to contain myself. And we will have it after the show, but wow, that was amazing. It's amazing the flavors
I love local
and
food week.
It's the best, right?
It's the best.
Everything that we produce here in the area. Amazing. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.